gonna be all right.
Yeah, bro,
Oh,
calm
so we
down,
I
allowed
man.
to
just,
argue the
Alright.
point?
You
No,
seem a little
no,
nervous.
y'all can
trust
go.
me, they
Y'all
in
can
the
have
back
that.
chats having these same
One mic.
conversations. Yeah, they in the back chats having these same conversations. Like,
Seem a little nervous. What's wrong?
You say
yeah,
you sound nervous.
I think it's because he saw you having the conversation. So, shout out
I mean,
DJ
my premise not gonna
Citizen
change.
Detroit in the building.
But so I think what it is you calling nature existence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes you agree with him though.
On that, yes, he agrees that nature is existence. Yes. What I'm saying is that it's not the compoundment of nature and time that creates existence. Existence is just nature.
So you don't
Okay,
you
Nature,
don't
see,
think that
see,
existence was before nature. Things exist
no,
before
no,
they come natural.
no. Everything is natural. What are you talking about? Everything
Well,
is
All right,
natural.
all right, I'm done.
so my question is that doesn't nature just describe the characteristics of the thing once it is actually become uh, the actual reality, right? So there's a nature to plants, there's a nature to animals, there's a nature to humans, nature to the
Absolutely.
world, nature to matter, nature to antimatter, nature to. So it has to exist prior to it having a nature that we can like actually say, okay, this is the nature of what this particular like thing is.
You was asking me, sister.
Whoever would want to.
Okay, go ahead. State the question again. I'm sorry.
Nature is more of a descriptive thing. It's like, so you have things matter. You have
897 was
plants,
15.
you have humans, you have these things, and nature just describes how those things, uh, the character of those things, right? So how do plants act in its environment, the essence or how things behave, right? The essence of a thing, right? So it has to exist prior to the nature of it to exist. And so it's like person, place, thing has a nature, right? So buildings have a nature, plants have a nature, people have a nature, animals have different natures. So the nature is a descriptive thing of what that particular thing is.
So,
I think that's in a different context of the word. I would say.
I mean, yeah, like I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is that it's levels to things. And so it's like the elephant in the room is that space is also nature. You don't have to have a seed for nature to exist. You don't have to have a animal or a stream of water. All of these things that we take in and it gives us therapy. Yeah, that's a byproduct of nature. But nature is simply existence. If you have all space with no matter, do you not have nature? Of course you still have nature. Nature is just space. And so that's what I'm saying. So if you have nothing but space, nature is existing. If you have no matter within that space, there is no system that can be created
But if you
uh, to recognize time.
And
but
that's why,
hold on,
and
can
that's
I
what I'm
just say
gonna
if
prove.
that?
you
I
I'm gonna
wanted
if
to
you
add
have
on
Regular.
to that.
I'm gonna prove why that's an incoherent thought and why what you see is totally different from what you claiming that it is. You
Oh,
don't just see a block
yeah,
with
well,
nature. You see a block with nature and time, brother.
Right,
Okay,
but
let's
this
go
is
I
to
have
the
to,
thing.
I have to agree
We're
Jimmy
with
we're
and
talking
philosophy.
a
Jimmy
lot
Ramon.
about nature, but like we have to talk about what time is. And I don't know if that is necessarily, been spoken about, but
Time is
time
arbitrary.
talks about like time is something that is measured by the cycles of nature. Like that's how you get time. Time didn't just, there's a the way we know that a year, which is a measurement of time, a year is 365 days, is because we're watching the nature of the earth go around the sun, right? So if the nature of the earth decides to go around it in a different type of cycle, then the time would change to match what the earth is doing, not the other way around.
Hmm.
So this is why I agree with Suave when it says that nature comes first, because time is the measurement of the nature, not the nature the measurement of the time.
Yeah. And I agree with that.
But
I mean, you could ask the brother his definition of
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Because I don't,
'Cause That
I just
that's what
don't
his
agree.
philosophy is. Yeah,
I
he
just,
GD
I
and
just
Capone
simply don't
next.
agree with
Hold
that.
on,
Oh,
Ollie.
my bad.
I mean,
My
hold on,
bad.
philosophy. GD and Capone next.
yeah, let me. So Suave. You
you're
said without no mass, you still have nature. If you have no mass, then you don't have nature. You don't have anything without mass.
He
do you
said,
have
"Man,
You
space?
just have you
Do you have space?
light, but
Do
light
you
is. I think
time
light
out?
still has
Time out. I got you. I got
photons
you.
have
I'm
mass.
sorry.
I think
Do
photons
you
still have like it, but
Let
it's
him
a
land his
real
plane,
small
Suave.
number. It's a real small number. Some might
do,
say it don't have mass, but everything has mass. That's what
okay.
everything
Does
that
God have a nature? Does God have a nature?
his nature is existence.
Back to you, Suave.
Yeah,
Or
that's what I'm
Brother
saying. Not only is God's nature existence, but nature is everyone's existence. Without existence, there's no nature. Without nature, there's no existence. And time comes later. Time is important to us. Time is amazing. I appreciate it. But in the argument of this, taking my feelings out of it, come on, sister, I got you. Yeah, nature predates time, and that's just it. Without that matter to measure, and I want to get the brother's definition of time just so y'all can see how ridiculous this is. Um, I-75, because time is the measurement between two masses in relationship to each other. Even if you have space and you have one piece of mass, there is nothing else to have relationship with. Therefore, time still won't exist with just one piece of mass. All right, now it's only until you have two things moving in relationship with each other, but you can say, well, it took this one this long to have this dance with this matter, and so I'm gonna cut that up into 12 pieces, and we're gonna come up with second minutes and hours. But he's throwing all of that out of the window for his feelings. And so could we get your definition of time, Brother Quantum only?
at the debate."
Understood. There you go.
Names,
Yeah.
you change your name again.
Yo, what's going on,
No,
y'all?
that's always been my name.
Peace.
What's good? What's
So
good?
let's say
Let me-
nature, energy, stars, planets, life, and time appear together.
Don't
Um,
shh.
Mm.
There's
Anybody,
no
anybody,
scientific evidence
anybody,
that nature
anybody
existed
can they,
before time.
Hold on, let DJ Genesis Detroit get it out, y'all.
We're saying that there is no evidence that nature existed before time. Nature is matter, energy, stars, planet, and life. Time, all those things appear together. So nature and time. So
Genesis.
it's all simultaneous. So there's no one thing that existed prior to the other.
Can I say? Let me drop my two cents real
Genesis.
quick.
Understood, sister.
Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's the brother argument.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
What's going on, yo? It's Hercules.
Let's let Massa Hurt get in here.
What's
Go
going
ahead,
on, you
Frank.
guys?
449.
Bama's always dropping these shows when I'm ready to leave work. Yeah. But yo, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be. This is gonna be interesting debate this Sunday and see how you guys explain it. I'm kind of like definitely on the edge because it's like I don't know. It doesn't seem like you guys, either one of y'all are explaining your points very well. But I guess I got to wait till Sunday to see how you guys go into detail and into depth. Because one thing that Suave said is that space is just being empty. Space is not empty. We know space is not empty at all. Even it's just empty. Think it's not empty at all. So from that point of view, that's incorrect. But from the other brother's point of view, he already explained his philosophy on how he thinks about time and nature. And he said, and if you guys watch his first video, he tells you that time and nature always existed. That's his point of view, that they always existed. It was never created. I believe that's what he said. It's always existed. But from that point of view, that's not correct either, because it had to come from somewhere. And science has shown that you could prove that the singularity is where everything came from. But yeah, just the time. We know time is how we It's how we tell time over the years. Like she said, everything's been created. Nature, you explain things in existence with time, but that's just something that we created to understand it and to be explain these cycles and stuff. So it's just gonna be interesting how y'all both break it down and explain y'all point of view from what you guys were saying right now. So yeah, I'm a I definitely want to see how this all unfold.
Would y'all say that? I want to ask Genesis
because
real
that's what it
quick.
is. It's more than just that. When you look at it.
Say it again.
Go ahead. My bad, GD. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask the sister Genesis. Would she say light is nature, or to suave, either or like a
Yes.
photon?
Yes.
What makes it nature?
So energy,
Can you elaborate?
energy, light is just a force of energy, just as sound is. So there's a nature to light, there's a nature to sound, there's a time to sound, there's a time to energy. There's a time and nature to all these things. So therefore, each thing have a description and they have a time frame that in which they like are able to execute themselves. So therefore, they both are simultaneous. It's not like one over the other. As things come into fruition, that's when time begins for that particular thing. So there's a time for when sound began. There's a time when light began. There's a time when life began, and it's humans, and time when planets began. So all this stuff is all connected, and they all have a description, which is the nature of it, and how that thing will act within the realm of creation. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely say that it's nature because, like I'm saying, nature is existence. I understand the brother conversation. I thought I broke it down pretty simple. I guess it went over people's head, yeah, but um, yeah, light, and photons and lights and all of that is part of nature. But what you got to understand is that light can live outside of the means of time. But when we come down to all right now, subatomic particles and stuff like that, these things exist everywhere at all times. So the conversation that I'm having is strictly what time is, what nature is, and the relationship to each other. So the brother could come up with as many philosophies as he wants. Um, Science does not prove the beginning, and so it is up for debate. And that's what I'm here to do. Black power.
And we have a
Yeah.
super chat from Ill Doctrine. Shout out Ill Doctrine. He says, time, space parallels femininity better. Receptive, relational, passive, principal, and fluid. Nature parallels masculinity. Competitive, experimental, active principle. It should be mother time and father nature. Shout out Ill Doctor. Appreciate you, brother.
So when you said time, you said
Doctrine.
subatomic particles.
There's a
Swab. You said subatomic particles exist at all times. Are you saying that they existed at? Are you saying they existed at? Have always existed always existed?
Take your time. Calm down. Say it again. Have I said they always existed?
You said they exist at all times.
Yeah.
Explain that.
It's like you know how you have those experiments, I guess, in the quantum field where it says, yeah, this atom is here, but it's also here. And it seems like it's moving, but it's not. It's just out of your visibility. But it's always present in all of these places at the same time. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, that's the Schrodinger theorem.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's okay. So I'm just saying, that's that concept. I understand your concept, but that's not that's not the same thing as saying that the subatomic particles exist at all times. That's not the same. That's not the same thing. But the Schrodinger the singularity, the Schrodinger equation and stuff that deals with, like you said, trying to figure out where the particle is at a certain time, at a certain place. You know what I'm saying? So it's not existing at all times. It's just existing at this one spot, or it could be at this one spot. So I understand I understand the concept, but I think you just mixing the words up. So
Ain't that the double split experiment?
yeah, the
Okay.
double split spirit, yeah. And I thought you was because I thought you was trying to describe quantum entanglement. That's what I thought you was about to go into. But and so I think look that one up, the quantum entanglement, because I think that's what you mean when you said it exists at all times. So that would explain how they exist at one spot, but also exist in another spot at the exact same time. That's quantum entanglement.
Oh,
So
the
here's a
equation,
question.
Schrodinger's cat. That's what you talking about. Where the cat is both dead and alive until someone views it.
That's what I
Same
was
as
wondering what I was talking
Yeah, yeah.
position.
Peace.
Yes.
Can you hear me, guys?
So I have a question. So
He's
light
straight, we can
based
hear
on
you.
oh, my bad.
Go ahead, DJ Genesis. You're good.
So the light is actually made of a particle called a photon, and then what happens is light travels at a speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to have a speed, you have to have time, because speed equals time, right? So you have a thing. It's a thing called special relativity that where they're able to measure the time. Okay, something moves faster through space, time it slows down for it. The effect is called time dilution. The faster you go, time slows, length strength. But the bottom line is that yes, light does have a time. It does have speed. It has everything that would consider to be regulated by time. So yes.
Yeah, I think so. Photons they travel at the speed of
about.
light, right?
I'm just,
Photons are light, right?
You
And they
next
have
with Church.
little to
Reggie.
no mass, right? Hercules, or they have completely no mass.
The
Photons
question, wouldn't that be the nature of light though?
without mass.
Yes. Usually, light has no mass.
Yeah.
No, everything has mass.
No, light has no. That's why it travels. It seems to be instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
But so,
Well,
but
it
what I'm
takes 8 minutes.
describing,
It
hold
takes
on, but
8
I have
minutes
a
for light
question.
to travel.
Right. So all these things you're discussing is the nature of light. So even though light, it exists, it probably existed within time. So they're saying that it doesn't exist, that light exists before time. No, it does not. The time and light also exist simultaneously because in order for it to travel, it needs to
Do a
be.
neutrino has
But here's
mass?
the thing: is that there is a nature to it. Everything that exists has a nature, and the nature is created simultaneously as it's being created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Roy Chess, do a neutrino.
Neutrinos
go
and
ahead,
photons are massless.
This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, that existence
Okay, so I was
is
wrong.
because there is time and nature. Without either or, you wouldn't even have existence. Existence is the highest power, but existence is the highest power, and it comes because there is time and nature. These are the minimal conditions needed for any existence, anything else to happen. So existence isn't created. Everything within existence forms through the morphogenetic action of time and nature. This is what Miss Genesis is describing. This is what all of y'all know, and I don't know why y'all keep trying to act like you don't.
Well, there's problems with it because immediately time only works in one direction, and according to quantum physics, time is a time. They say they're hinting at it's a social construct because time cannot go backwards, right? You can't go back.
Yeah, that's
10
what
years.
some say. There's some that disagree with it, and I'm one
Who
of the
says
ones that
time can't go
disagree with it.
backwards? What are you talking
There's
about?
there's a lot of
There's no way
scientists and modern physics that
to
disagree
go
with that,
to
Roy,
kindergarten
because
in
they
your
know that.
graduation days. There's no way for you to do that.
So does anybody believe in
Yeah, yeah, sure.
multiverses here? Like, I mean,
Yeah, I do. Well, not verses, but dimensions.
Dimensions, right? So in one dimension, all this stuff might be backwards, it might be forwards, and
Well, you're talking about versus the multiverse thing.
Yeah, but you have something called
But that's what you bring
the
in when you say
Kardashians.
that.
Oh, dimensions are different from universes. That's not the same thing.
But that's what you bring in when you start talking about all the possibilities and saying that stuff can't happen. These are what you sneak in.
No, the multiverse is
Time can go backwards. It depends on what iteration of whatever the multiverse
For
is in.
in our
a higher
universe, it doesn't go backwards.
a higher
Be by the
dimensional
assumption
being will
But
will
we can't,
utilize
you
will
can't
be
say
able
that
to
there isn't a
go
universe where it goes
forward and
back.
backwards through time at will.
We're not talking any
No.
universe. We're talking about this particular one. He's talking about this particular one, right? Right. Quantum. You're not talking about all
So,
the
do you
universes.
believe in expansion and contraction? Do you believe in expansion and contraction? Expansion and contraction.
But leave,
That
bye.
things can like expand out and then contract back.
Yes, that's not reversing time. That's not reversing time. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
time
Roy,
you
I
go
wouldn't-
back.
that's right. I mean, you would have to show that you could go backwards in time physically, or send a particle backwards in time, and that's something that has not been able
So
to prove.
do
But see, that's
do
where y'all
time
get that's where y'all keep talking about clock time. Do y'all understand that that's not the time that I'm talking about? When I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
time
about,
understand.
linear.
when I'm
We
talking
understand
about
that.
hold
It's a
on, when
different
I'm talking
subject.
about time, I'm talking about the sequence and changing and updating that's within existence. Y'all trying to talk about magical time and going backwards in time, which is illogical because it's incoherent, because we see in existence that it hasn't happened and it isn't happening. So when you start trying to sneak those assumptions in, they don't work and they're incoherent, guys.
Nope,
We
nobody
have
was
to,
trying to
No,
sneak it in.
wait. That's the
It just
only
came up.
time that you can be.
It
You
just came up.
calling something else. So we're having a discussion on something that you're not even. It's not even the topic. That's what you're saying.
no.
So, what
I'm
about
saying
You
y'all
wormholes?
calling
What
leaving.
about
time something
I'm saying
different.
y'all leaving. I'm
Hold on,
saying y'all only
wormholes
got y'all
actually
mind
prove
set
that
on clock
time can go
time.
back.
Y'all not set on
Wormhole.
the
That's
entire.
the only time that it is. It's linear.
It is not.
No, there's
The
wormholes. There's actually things
arbitrary
called
time.
It is not,
wormholes.
and that's what my philosophy will
Hold on.
prove, and
No,
I'll
time
prove
is
that
circular. It's not.
it
It's
is
not
not.
linear.
Hold
No,
on. Let's
for
let
black
DJ
The
Genesis
cycle.
get in
Time is
I'll
here.
give
circular.
you that.
Period.
I'll give you that. The
Let's let
cycle. I'll
DJ
give you the
Genesis
cycle.
get in here.
Existence is
Time
morphogenic,
is
is
circular, and
self-sustaining.
then there are
Don't
such
make me
things
Time
as
stay longer than I want.
wormholes.
goes around and around. It don't go straight. It just seems in your perception that it's going straight because that's how you're perceiving it and experiencing it. But
Hold on,
time moves more than that.
hold on, Jermaine. Let me let. I see it. I think it's 3-on-1, which is okay. But let's
So
let everybody go ahead, DJ Genesis. Then we'll go to Massa. Then
here's a
we'll go to
question.
Gina and
So if
Capone.
I
Then back
am
to
the reason why I know that
or
time is not what we think it is because you could be orbiting Mars, and just your orbit of Mars, you are going to age faster. But if you orbit the Earth, and that person orbiting Mars, they're going to be aging at different rates. So therefore, that tells me that time in one aspect of space is different than another aspect of space. So that to me tells me that yeah, that time itself is is abstract. You know, when you want to think about it.
It would
And
be
they do have
relative.
wormhole. They do have wormholes as well. But I mean, I guess it's kind of like still up in the air about that. But there are such things as wormholes.
Well,
Yeah.
you're
hold
saying
on, Roy
time is
Chess. Hold on,
relative.
Roy Chess. Massa Hurt, Genie and Capone. Then you. Then back
Okay.
to
Yeah.
Jermaine. If nobody else wants to hop in that at that
Yeah.
point.
So El Ron, I think nobody was trying to sneak anything in on the time. It just the conversation just developed into that direction.
Oh,
I
no,
think
no, no.
I
No,
understand.
don't cut them off.
I understand where you're coming from in your concept of time and what you're talking about. I think as we was talking about time, it developed into the direction that where we at now. I don't think nobody was trying to undercut your concept of time, nothing like that at all. And I agree with Genesis because we know that like it's relative to where you at. Time is relative to the position that you're in. That's why that's why they say time is relative with the fourth dimensional time. Space time is relative to where you're at.
I agree.
And we think it's linear because that's a European concept. That's how they view time. Black people, African people always view time as circular. That's how Black people view time. It moves in a circle motion, really a spiral motion. That's how time moves. Time is relative when we're dealing with space time, and then when we're dealing with dimensions, you're dealing with if you're dealing with right now we're in the third dimension. The next dimension would be the fourth dimension. That's not a different universe. That's just a next dimension within our universe. So then you will have then it gets into multiverses, which will be a different universe besides the dimension. But yeah, those things are kind of separate. The multi universes and dimensions are separate because we could still be in the same universe but be in a different dimension. You know what I'm saying?
So,
So
Hurt, can I ask you a question, Hurt? While you going in?
yeah,
What is time?
time is a way that we measure and tell. I guess like cycles over the years to measure just how we live and stuff.
Okay, bet. Now, pin that right there. What is time as the brother Quantum is defining it?
His actual definition, I don't know, but I just know that he said that time and nature existed has always existed. But
He
his
said
actual definition, I don't know.
he said something about the sequence of events that changes. I don't remember. He said something like that. Sequence of events.
Go ahead, Quantum. Let us get it again. What's your definition of time, Quantum?
L Ron, give us your definition.
Jermaine.
We had crickets.
My bad, man. I was
Hey,
mute. My
hey.
bad. My bad. I was muted.
Right?
My bad. I was muted, man. I didn't know I was muted.
Take your time, man. If you need to take your time to get right, we we can
No,
wait
man.
because
It's
two other
fine, you
people
know,
had
so
questions.
they
Go
always
ahead,
they
Jermaine.
keep
It's on you.
the time that y'all talking about is just a measure. Each and every one of y'all agrees that it's measurements of time that y'all talking about. Y'all talking about clock time, but that's not what time. The actual time is within total existence. The time that y'all experience and the clock that y'all use as a tool to measure time with, y'all measuring something other. There's other things that can be measured besides the clock time that you're experiencing. So within existence, time is ordered update. It's before, after, it's sequence, it's change, it's the duration of something for that change to happen. Y'all know
That's
that's
the
time.
same thing.
I have a question.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on.
Exactly.
Let me ask one question first.
Exactly. It's the
Well,
same
you
exact
can answer
thing.
your question.
Suave boss. I just give you the best definition that you can have of it.
I
So
have
can you
a
give
question.
that definition to
I
me
have a
one more
question.
time, please? I feel like I missed it. I was posting in the comments. Maybe I did.
You said
Ordered
repeat it one
up-
more time.
Yeah, repeat
It's
that
ordered
definition
up.
you gave for time.
It's ordered update in existence. It's before and after. It's the sequence of something when it's changing. It is the change. It's the duration, not just the measurement.
Gotcha.
There's so many different ways. That's why they say
I
time
agree
is
with that.
relative, because
You got
the
that on the
relative.
slide? You want to show that to me? Or, no, you don't got to though.
I don't got my
Hey, that's good
slides
enough.
up. I'm
No,
sure I
you
got
doing
it
good. You
somewhere.
doing good.
I don't got them up and stuff. But
Hey,
it's
that's-
You
I
ain't
don't
getting
see how
paid
it's
tonight. You
different.
ain't got to bring no slides out, baby. You good.
How's it different regular? That's the same thing as time as we doing now. I don't understand how.
So
Never mind. You ain't got to explain.
That's exactly
It's
what I'm
become-
saying, Nancy. If that's the same thing that you said, that's what I'm saying. Why is everybody having problem with it if it's the same thing? All I did was give you a better understanding. And to them, it gives you more time and more aspects of time than just clock time. So it knocks down a lot of their ideas. But just like what you said, it ain't me
But the clock
that has the
time
problem
comes
with it.
from.
They have the problem with it, not me.
See, what I see is that it's a circular argument because the clock time comes from the actual spatial bodies, right? Like the astro bodies, like the stars, the sun, the moon, different things. So it's when you're saying clock time, it's actually those things moving forward and backwards, as you would like to say, right? And changing through certain phases. That's how we tell time. That's how we get our clock time. But that was one thing. Another thing is that Genesis, when you said that about the lifespan, if you circle around, if you orbit Mars relative, if you orbiting Earth, you will be older. But the one variable is you missing is that both of those planets are moving linearly through space as they cycle the sun. So, and then to Hercules, when you were saying that everything is in a cycle, is like the African spirituality states it is. Yes, it is, but all those things form a line. It forms a linear, um, something what we call linear or a line, right? So circles, amount of circles, you put circles together, you're gonna get something that's abstract, right? You're gonna get a shape, a form, or something. This is like fractals or something. So you can get a line through in time. You will form a line. It's just like last example. It's just like the a dot, right? To draw a line, you have it's from point to point. So within those 2 points is number little dots in between. Those dots are circled, but it forms a line. So it's an abstract thought, and it's circular. It's a circular topic, and that's why I'm kind of confused on the whole thing, because it's like everybody is saying the same thing. We're going around in circles.
All right. If I may, really fast. Brother A1, what was the word that you were saying earlier that we was diving into earlier?
Nomenclature, but before we go into that, it was on Roy Chess. I don't want to.
Oh, go ahead, Roy Chess. Go ahead.
And then can you come back to that, and I'll pull it up on the screen for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted also. So one of the things I wanted to bring out also is that if you are using the word time describes sequencing in order, quantum, you need to use the word time. Mathematics already has that, right? Isn't that answer? You have sequencing, number sequences in mathematics, and there's no time involved, right? I give you a sequence like 2, 4, 6, 8. What's the number, right? That's a sequence in order, right? Time to have a sequence or an order. So that's one issue. Another issue is that the way we're describing time and the way most people describe time, as DJ Genesis mentioned, is that some instances it's going to be relative from point A to point B. And I think she has it backwards. I think when you are in space, you age slower, not faster. You age faster here on Earth. So if you were to go out to Jupiter and come back, everybody else is going to be older and you're going to be the same age, right? Everybody whose age is going to look way older than you. It's not the other way around. So I don't know if you're using the word time correctly, quantum, because you don't need time if you have sequencing in order. But you might want to rethink that or consider that.
No, I don't want to rethink it. I'm gonna leave it just like I got it. It is sequencing and then reorder. It's used in math. So thanks for the heads up, but I'm gonna use it just like that. And what you're gonna have to do is get used to how I'm using it and understand that yes, mathematics might be the language of Father Time. And I got books on this, but I won't get into it more. You guys are saying exactly what I'm saying. Y'all just don't get mad and try to tell me.
No, I'm not getting mad.
Take a breath, Quantum. Take a breath.
I'm trying to get you to understand that you have problems.
I'm trying to get you to understand that I don't care.
Hey,
well,
decorum, sir. Decorum, gentlemen.
Hold
Decorum.
on.
Take a breath, Jermaine.
So when I mentioned time is relative, you have to get around it, right? So time is not a constant. Time only works on direction, like I said, and like DJ Genesis said, it is relative to point B. So you have to get around that, because the way you're saying it, that is a constant, like it was always there, like it's always been there constantly. It doesn't change. You never get anything about time changing. Land my plan there.
So you saying that?
Like I said, you're collapsing time into clock time and measurement system. Time is a way we measure cycles over the years and stuff. That's not a definition of time. That's the definition of a clock or a calendar. You trying to pull back into astronomy as the real basis of time. Clock time comes from astral bodies, sun, moon, stars. That's still measurement. It's using repeating physical processes as a reference. Then you keep drifting into geometry metaphors. Cycles make lines, dots make lines, fractal. That's basically you trying to say time is a pattern and structure, but they never lock what time is. What do you think time is then?
Okay, so I mean,
I'm not just to keep going through these games with y'all. You don't know what time is, and then when I give you the idea of time, you tell me I'm wrong.
Take a
Clock
breath.
time
That's
is a
actually what you're
measurement
here
tool.
for. You're actually here to go back and forth.
There you
These are
go. Bring
measurement
it out,
tools.
man.
Hey,
Distance
remember,
is a
keep the proper
measurement tool.
perspective.
Give him some straightening.
Father time is ordered update. You listen, y'all write this down. Everybody on this panel, grab your pen and write this down so you'll be able to know it before the rest of the world. This is what time actually is. Mansa, the mathematician, agreed with me that what I'm saying is actually what you guys are saying. But for some reason, when I give you more definition, you seem to not get it and keep going back and digressing to simple clock and measurement time. So if you're not mentally nourished enough to update, when your phone updates, you make sure you update that. It's time for you to update what time is. You guys have the wrong idea. You measuring time.
If I can, let me get in the queue whenever I can.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Let's pass it around.
So
Well, go ahead. Humble Mystic wanted to pull up something. I don't know.
so onlyism. Are you using the term time as a nomenclature? That's the word,
Yes.
right, A1?
Yes.
Well,
Yes, that's what that's what it is.
it's the
What it is
system of
it's
naming
actually
things. Like,
father
is he
time.
reading? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I take the condition, because when my arguments, when I'm talking about the preconditions of existence. What must be available for anything else to even happen?
Mm-hmm.
This is where I start my thing at. This is why I understand that time and nature has always been. So the thing that creationists, people who believe in God, when they say God has always been, but has been outside time and nature, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I say that concept is incoherent because, just as Miss Genesis said, it has to have a nature. And if it has a nature, anything that has a nature will be time. So existence minimally without anything else is time and nature. This is why I identify them as father and mother. No other reason. Simply because they are the first preconditions in the parents of condition, in the parental condition of existence. Without either, you wouldn't have existence. You just have the one. You'd have time without nothing to change. And if you just have nature, you'd have a lot of nothing without no static, nothing changing, no differentiation. You can't tell this from that, that from this. You have to have both of them. Once we understand this, then you'll understand. That's the supremacy that I'm talking about, why they should be father and mother or God and goddess. Because if you take either one of those away, you won't have any existence as you see it right now. And I'm talking about what we see, not how you feel.
It's okay. It takes, if I know how you feel, it takes time for people to catch up, if that's what I should say. Some people say you need to catch up, but I digress. We'll see come Sunday when this debate happens. And to answer your question, Humble Mystic, you would say, like, within his nomenclature, is he using the terms like blah blah blah? Like, that's how you would use the
Okay,
word.
got you.
Like it's
So
more like his framework. So
His framework,
yeah.
right?
So
it's
are
his
you would say
philosophy.
the same way you would say, well, within his framework, does he mean this? You would say, well, within his nomenclature, or you would
Okay,
say, in my nomenclature, yada 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 yada. Like that.
right. Got you.
So within that framework, within his, my bad, I just repeated the same thing. Within his philosophy, what are you calling time? Because if you are using the nomenclature, then you're naming something that already has a name, time.
Let's
So
do
we
this,
could better understand it.
So you
Jermaine. I don't
saying
know
that?
if you
So
got
what you
time,
saying is that
Jermaine.
I'm just
That's
pointing.
funny. I
So
was
you
saying,
saying I'm
I
just
didn't want
pointing out something that you already know?
put it on the slide for everybody, Jermaine. Put it on the slide
Hold on, GD.
so they can screenshot it.
Go ahead, debate before the debate, man. Make sure we understand you. brother.
He over there
I
writing
think
notes down. Like, yeah, like I'm gonna attack this time
I don't
thing
want.
first.
I can't, man. That's why I told you not to say nothing.
Yeah,
But
let
GDM,
Suave go in a little bit. Pass it to Suave, son, man.
he left.
For you empty your clip, man.
He left. Suave left. He said he got enough power. He got enough firepower. He got enough. He done heard enough where he don't even want to debate no more. So he left.
I don't think that was it, yo. I don't think that was it.
Oh, it's gonna be a great debate, especially
It
how
is-
y'all present y'all arguments. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
We have
I
to
probably
agree
don't.
on my
I probably can't
definition.
catch the whole thing live. It's gonna be Sunday, right?
Sunday,
Yeah.
7 or 8 o'clock. Yeah. Promise.
Yeah. So real quick,
Yeah.
I'm about to roll it out. I want to say this. So the brother Capone was asking about, because I mentioned how time is circular. For African people, black people, they see time as circular. So the reason for that is because you were saying, it's still linear. You put that dot there. You still got that circle. But no, the reason for time being circular, they seeing it as circular is, and it all ties into the concept of Mayat. This everything has to be in balance and have an order and avoiding what they call isfat, avoiding chaos. And today we call it uncertainty. So when time is linear and you're going out to infinity, going to infinity, that's uncertainty because you don't know what's out there. So
So
you
they
just
had a word for
just
infinity.
keep
That was
going.
the who,
Huh?
who. Well, ain't that's the word? I mean, heck was the word for infinity, right?
Yeah.
HEH.
One of the words. So that's how Westerners see it as it's just time just continuous. You just continue and going to whatever. But the ancestors, they saw it as circular because you wanted this periodic time to be where you're coming back in line with Mayat, where you're coming back in line with that stability. You're not just going
Right.
towards uncertainty. To go
Right.
towards
So
that's what
let me.
call the uncertainty principle. So for the ancestors, they didn't do that. They didn't go towards uncertainty. You cut it off. It's like you're not going to go towards the chaos. You want to stop that, and you want to maintain this balance. You know what I'm saying? You want to maintain equilibrium, and the people they'll never realize this is why they had a civilization that lasted for
Gideon, you
4,000
next.
years. You know what I'm saying? So going towards infinity is something, you're creating this chaos. You know what I'm saying? That's not something you want to do. So that's why they look at time, you want to be in periodic motion where you are in sync with the universe, with the earth. You in sync, you in rhythm with everything else, and you're not going off. So it's a concept that's hard to get used to because truthfully, I just came across this concept. I've been heard about the African concept of time being circular, and I never understood it how it being circular until I was taking certain math classes, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold up, wow, this applies to this, but now it's still kind of hard to grasp because we grow up thinking time is just linear. That's how we grow up in thinking, but they don't think like that. Time is periodic. It comes around. Seasons come around every year. Your birthday comes around every year. You know what I'm saying? But you don't stay the same age. You get higher, you get older. You know what I'm saying? You elevate, you grow every year. So that's why I can't even think of the word. It's circular, but it's going in a spiral pattern. You're going up and up every year. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they see time when we say they see it as circular.
Right, but
go
go
ahead.
ahead. All right.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate it, man. Hey, quantum truth, brother, because the more I'm listening to you, brother, the more. So let me explain. Let me just explain how I see it because this is how I was gonna say it. And I'm looking at YouTube on my TV, and my granddaughter, her mama been watching us, and I'm explaining like it's PBS Kids, right? Because you drifting, like the topic is drifting away, which is favoring swab balls. If we was talking to second graders, I'm using those definitions of time and nature. time is a measurement of existence. Whether you believe it's circular, linear, it implodes upon itself at a certain time. However you think about it, it's just simply a measurement of existence. If there's no existence, there's no nature. There's no nothing. So I'm looking at it as just like simplified terms. If we were always in second grade and we're learning about time and nature, but it seems like the more you're talking, you're trying to prove your definition of time. And that's when it gets to whose definition of time or Mother Nature is better. And when you dive off into that, Suave Boss, he kind of been doing this a long time. I think I beat him upside his head a couple of times. So he been doing this. So once you dive off into that realm, he might get you. So I'm the word to the wise.
And one more thing, I'm about to roll out, you guys. And one more thing, Elron, it's like, don't get upset because people don't agree with you. You know what I'm saying? People don't agree with I say so. I'm just saying, just don't get too upset. Don't let it beat you. Don't let it anger you on the inside. Chill with it and just come back with your response. Keep it chill. Just come back with your response because people not going to agree. Especially when you're trying to come up with something. When you have something new that you're trying to show people. People agree. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of new theories that I'm trying to come out with, and I don't agree. But hey.
I always appreciate you, Master Herc, man. Have an amazing day, man. Out there doing the Lord's work. Some people would say if you believe in that type of thing. But yeah, man, we appreciate you. Always taking the time to sit at the panel and bring us your wisdom. Who was it on?
Yeah,
Jermaine?
It was on me, wasn't it?
Jermaine, Gideon Capone next. I think you were responding to Gideon. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I was just gonna say thank you, Gideon. Thank you, Manson.
We're not closing out, man. You sound like you leaving. Where you going?
Oh yeah. Oh no, because I was just about to say that I agree with you on the second grade thing. If I was explaining this to a second grader, then we probably wouldn't even be talking about the concepts of existence. So much to say, but we talking to you know what I'm saying, like some grown folks. And what I don't, when they say I be getting mad, when I seem to be getting mad, it ain't that. It's that I give a concept and a person will see exactly what I'm talking about, and then they'll tell me to change it to their liking. When all I did was show them exactly what they was missing. But since they didn't see it, now they want me to change it to what it is. I agree with all of y'all. I see exactly what y'all seeing. It's just this right here. Since I seen it first, I have the right to order it the way I want to order it. So time has a history in human evolution and human existence. In the existence of humans, time has always been here, just like nature has. So I'm going to stick with those words. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make existence update to what we should be identifying time as. I didn't say that those things that those measurements of time those are fine. Y'all defining time as a clock. That's a measurement system. A clock don't create the time though, guys. It measures a physical process and it uses it as reference. Time is a deeper sense. Y'all know this. This is why we have these type of conversations. Update. Time is a deeper sense of ordering and change. It's before and after. It's sequence, just like Roy said. It's duration. It's the process. It's all of those. You can say, oh, well, but they got it in math. They already have it in math. I understand they do. That's why I didn't change it. That's why I can't change it, because we already have it. What I'm doing is identifying more of the characteristics of the things that people miss because they want to have an intentional existence and say that we were created. But if you guys understand when I go and say that things form, it's the same thing as y'all saying that
God created existence. I'm saying that no, existence has always been in its time and nature. So that's what God and Goddess is, and their processes and the morphogenesis is the same thing that y'all say is intentional creation. I take the intention out and just give you something that you can ride, and you say, oh, if time and nature is doing that, then I should get along with existence so I can persist. And y'all don't want to take accountability in existence, so y'all gonna keep on pushing either time to the side or you're going to push nature to the side. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to keep them both like they is, and I'm going to show y'all exactly why you should also be intelligent enough to update the information that I'm giving you. I don't care about the people who disagree or have other things. Well, time just the measurements to me. That's cool because you're agreeing with me. I'm telling you, there's more to that. Whether you agree with that or not, you still agree that time exists. That's what we need to know.
Hey, so I just Hercules is gone now, but I had a little pushback on what he said about the cycles. Because we have something that's called the astral plane or the ecliptical plane, right? Not the astral plane, the ecliptical plane, and it's where planetary alignments, when the planets align linearly, right? So they are in a linear alignment, right? We just had this where the planets of the solar system was aligned in the night sky, where you can see them visibly. So in those alignments, right? The planetary alignment is they are all moving simultaneously in a cycle, in a circle, in a wave, right? Orbiting the sun at the same time, but they still align at one point. This is why the universe is fine-tuned. It's fine-tuned for those alignments to happen. Why? So we can have life on Earth or habitable planets, whichever habitable planet. They say it's like over 300 ones. But that's what those alignments are for. So yes, they do move in a cycle, in a circle, in the balance and everything, but that balance becomes in the orderly. And once it becomes order, it's linear. So I yield with that.
Is everything okay? I had to step away for a second. I came back. It was just quiet.
Yeah, everything okay. He just
Yeah,
he
Judy.
lost the debate on the panel, and I didn't even have to say nothing.
Don't let him
He
get in your
murdered
head,
himself.
man. Don't let
He
him get in
murdered
your head,
himself. Man,
Man,
give
I'm
me
not
some advice,
listening to
A1, man.
him.
Your advice ain't
I'm
one-sided, A1. Give me some
listening.
advice, A1.
Don't let them
Should
get
I
in your
calm
head.
down?
Nothing that they say today even matters. Judges got to watch you and your presentation and your rebuttals. You
Suave
could mess
boss trying to
around and
get in my
stumble
head.
him.
Suave, you know I'm older
Yeah,
than that,
he's
man.
definitely trying to get in your head right now.
Man, y'all is not finna act like I'm trying to get in this dude here. I'm okay
Yeah.
with being over here outside of that dude's
If
cup.
anything, they just helped you strengthen your argument 10 times. You already know the rebuttal
Yeah, that's
coming
what
good.
happened.
Yeah,
That's what
so
happened.
That's what I tried. That's why I tried not to have the talks
Is what
at
for you.
first, man, because I knew it
you
was
ain't
just
giving
gonna
nothing
help him.
away. You ain't giving nothing away that you didn't
See,
already
but
say
that's
at the start.
that's being an intellectual coward. See, I'm standing on truth. I don't gotta wait to the debate to give you my definitions, my premise, my like. I'll send you my presentation. You can't do
Yeah.
nothing with it.
And
No,
that's
that's what
another
we're
thing.
doing. That's
Yes.
what the debate is. We're supposed to be. They don't go in the fucking weigh-ins and start punching each other.
Language, gentlemen.
Oh, my bad. They wait till they get in the ring, and then
I
they
mean, do
start
Nah,
your
punching.
thing.
real
Do your
real
thing.
debate.
63
They
rounds on
not. They
TikTok.
Yeah,
usually
that's
provide
why
their
I'm
own
on here
source.
to
They
demolish you.
provide the
You ain't even a
sources.
warrior, and you gonna call me a coward
Man,
intellectual? I'm mad at you now. You
Jermaine,
ain't
don't be
even a
cutting people
warrior.
off. Come on now. We're not cutting people off and doing all that aggressive stuff. Calm down, man. Go ahead, though. We chilling today right now. It's still
say it
early.
again, though, Gideon, for sure, sister. Take care, please. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Say it again, Gideon.
usually when it's like a real debate, like both sides they present their information and their sources to the opponent, so that person can go thoroughly, seek rebuttals. That way, it's no type of ambush scholarship, and the audience get to see whose research is actually top notch and whose doctrine, or rather whose presentation is actually, most sound, because
That is
it's no surprises.
that is true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So shout
Yeah,
out to
that's
you,
in
man.
like collegiate and scholarly debates. They do send a information to one another.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, how
I,
you do it
I'm
is how
not
you
a
do it,
fan of
but
that
don't
though.
don't.
I'm not a
I
fan of
mean,
that. If it's
sure.
a debate, I don't need to see your
Right
information
now.
to argue my
Yes,
point.
sir.
I'm going to debunk your stuff without that because I'm going to research. But I don't know. I think that's an easy
Right.
way out.
I mean, it
I
has its
agree.
pros and cons. Like I say, it's just we already don't have a written premise, and like I said, I'm fine if he don't open his mouth and say another word at all. But all I'm saying is, when you jumping on these panels and you doing these solo presentations, and then the conversation gets started, and all of a sudden you and shutting up. To me, that's what I define it as. But like I said, man, I'm open, I'm transparent, man. My argument is what my argument is, man. I'll take on any questions, man. Like I said,
Which is
he can get my presentation, he can get any slide that Mother Nature is just an anthropomorphization of nature, and Father Time is the same relationship to time. That time is the measurement of mass within space, and space is nature, which is existence. And so, yeah, that's my dance that you're gonna die on Sunday.
Yeah,
okay.
we make it look easy, gentlemen. It's one thing to have a presentation. It's another thing to present it. Get up there in front of them bright lights on the big stage. Shout out Suave Boss. Already a titan in this arena over here. Tighten up, gentlemen.
Yeah, some people need help with their
Protect yourself
presentation.
and protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times.
I'm a steel man within my presentation. I'm a steel man, Suave Boss's position, and then I'm gonna show y'all how they move them big old stones to make the pyramids in Egypt.
Well, at least he being
Uh-oh.
honest about it. I
Let's
So
go.
appreciate that.
get him up out of there.
Let's
Well,
go.
don't
Seventh wonder of
underestimate
the
him.
world type stuff. Quantum truth in the building, y'all. Don't forget it. He said.
Yeah, no, I'm not underestimating the brother. I sat back and I listened to him. We about a month in, right, of hearing him
Yep.
lie on the internet.
Yep.
So 1326. Yeah, I got a firm grasp of what he's talking about. So yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't think he can compile and present the information, even if he was right. And the fact that he's incorrect just it is a benefit for him because he gets to nomenclature. He gets to jump in and out of reality from physical to
Oh my
spiritual, from
God.
metaphysical. He gets to got you, and he gets to come from literal to metaphorical. He gets to do all of these dances, and I'm walking right up the middle.
Got
Uh, you said these and two casinos.
Suave
Yeah,
put on a
so
good show every time, man.
guys. Go
If you want to
listen to
book
Suave.
Suave Boss, go ahead and just email us here at Titans Debate League. He is trying to take this show on the road. So let us know. He will be on a platform debate near you for the right price.
Hey, I'm back, guys. Are y'all over with? You're about to end?
No, I'm just over here clowning.
Suave
Oh,
Boss over here.
No, we're not about to end.
I wanted to show y'all this video that was on my channel. I'm not sure if everybody got to see this.
Go ahead, shout your
No,
channel out, promote your stuff. I'll pull this down for a second. No copyright violation stuff on there for me.
no, it's my interview, so it's from my channel.
Okay. Do your
So
thing. You got the floor, sis.
it's up there already.
Who's that, Miss Genesis?
And tell everybody where your channel is and where they can go find you at.
It's at DJ Genesis Detroit. At DJ Genesis GENESIS Detroit. And it gets into what we were just talking about, like the universe, right? So I want you to check it out. Like, I know people be like, oh, it's a white guy. Who cares? Like his knowledge is, he knows what he's talking about. Like, right. So he's
but no, we
actually,
very white friendly. We white friendly. It ain't that. But shout out to you, DJ Genesis. I didn't know that was you,
Black
sister. Peace to you, man. Good to see you.
Black Power is white friendly. That's crazy
Yes,
work.
Black Power is white friendly. Yeah.
But
That's why we can't unite
I
on the
wanna
black
like I
cloud.
wanted to bring this because he breaks it down. Him being an Ifa priest, he's a white man practicing African spirituality, and his research has brought him into so many different levels of information. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys. If you could play it just right till he gets into plasma science, when he gets done with that, then you could like let it go. But please just let him just make his claim real quick. I know people right.
You got to
All
play
right,
it, sis.
Molly, and he
You got to hit play,
studied
sis.
with
Can you
the
make sure it's turned all the
Dogon
way up?
people, and he realized that every 51 years they did a ritual, once every 51 years, that celebrated the elliptic cycle of a dog star, meaning a black star, around the star Sirius, which is a major star in the astronomy of the planet Earth. So the thing that was amazing about that is that modern astronomers did not see that that second star more recently than 100 years ago, and the Dogons have been doing that ritual for thousands of years. So Robert Temple asked the Dogons if they would initiate him and teach him their mysteries. The Dogons said, yes, we will initiate you only if you promise to share all our mysteries with the rest of the world. Notice I said share, not keep a secret. So Temple went to Mali, he got initiated, and he realized that the foundation of Dogon science, which is also the foundation of Egyptian science, which is also the foundation of Ifa science, is what's called plasma physics. And so Temple realized that in order to explain the Dogon paleoscience and theology, he needed to become a student of plasma physics. So he spent 30 years and became the world's foremost authority on plasma physics. And he recently wrote a book on plasma physics called The New Science of Heaven by Robert Temple. That book, I had to go back and retranslate a lot of what I thought I understood about Yoruba scripture based on that book. And here's what Temple says. He said, in 1945, a man named David Bohm was working on the Manhattan Project, helping Robert Oppenheimer build an atom bomb along with Albert Einstein. Einstein and Oppenheimer told Bohm that they needed him to study plasma because they knew that when they exploded an atom bomb, it would create a plasma cloud, and they needed to understand it before they released it in the world. All right. So using a lot of experiments, a long story short, a lot of mathematical equations, David Bohm proved that plasma clouds were conscious. Let that sink in for a minute. So as soon as
so a nuclear bomb is conscious. The actual cloud of a nuclear bomb is conscious.
Equivocally. And David Bohm not only said that, which anybody can say anything they want, but he proved it with a series of experiments, which I can explain in detail one day if you're interested. But the point is, after he explained his experiments and showed people why he said what he said, Oppenheimer turned to the 30 other physicists in the room and said, can anybody refute what he's saying? And nobody could. So Oppenheimer said, okay, we're just not going to talk about it. We're going to pretend it's not true. He called the FBI and had Oppenheimer deported and has never been a part of academia since then. But there's an implication for that concept, all right? Plasma clouds are conscious, all right? So here's what's important to know about that. 99% of the universe is plasma. Only 1% of creation is based on the structure of atoms, all right? Plasma clouds are essentially subatomic particles that have not coalesced to form atomic structure yet. So we live in a plasma universe, and the plasma clouds that surround us are conscious. All right, you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah. So is that where you get antimatter versus matter?
Yeah, that's an element, but that's down the road. The important point to understand at this point in our conversation is, if plasma clouds are conscious, that means in olden times, our elders called plasma clouds spirits. If you were Yoruba speaking, you called a plasma cloud an orisha. You called them a rumale, an imale. Those are different types of clouds. So if you go back and if you look at the definitions and the meaning and the explanations of spirit and translate that into plasma science, you have an understanding of physics that is greater than the physics I was taught at some of the best science schools in the world. All right, so I stand by that unequivocally. I went to Caltech, which is where Einstein used to teach back in the day, and what I learned there was nowhere near as sophisticated or accurate, in my opinion, than the plasma science I learned from reading Odu Ifa. So if you really understand what I'm saying, you'll understand that Odu Ifa.
Wait, no, hold on. So that actually gets into how when they say the Orisha, are the body. Like Oshun is the circulatory system. Yemoya is the
Listen,
this.
listen, we talked about this earlier. You're close, but no cigar. Let me explain that.
Okay.
The Ori generates plasma around the human body that we call the soul in the orbit. That's Me. So the Me is a plasma cloud. So listen, plasma cloud is influenced by the resonance of the 256 odus. You were taught that you had 6 senses. No, you have 256 senses, and each one of those streams information at a different frequency. And as our consciousness tunes into those different frequencies, we are able to access information outside of our experience. So there's 256 odus. Now, here's the thing to understand. All right, we ready? Take a deep breath. We're going to back up. I'm going to say some stuff that's a little abstract, but we're going to get through it. Odu represent a 3-dimensional fundamental energy pattern called a Merkaba. A Merkaba is a torsion sphere with 2 counter-rotating 3-sided pyramids. Merkaba is Merkabah. So the Merkaba.
Sorry, y'all. I can't spell. I can't spell.
3-sided pyramids, as explained exquisitely by Terrence Howard, generates gravity. All right. But if you think about it, a 3-sided pyramid has 4 points of contact with the torsion sphere that holds it in place. 3 points of contact at the base and 1 at the apex. You with me? You understand?
Yes, yeah, I do.
So each of those 4 points of contact with the sphere are represented in a 2-dimensional symbolic pattern by Odu Ifa. The marks of Odu, there's 4 of them. The right side represents the points of contact between the pyramid and the apex of the sphere facing north, and the other one faces south. So each point of contact with the sphere can be either open or closed. If it's open, we make 1 mark on the tray. If it's closed, we make 2 marks on the tray. So the spinning of the subatomic particle known as a Merkaba allows energy, which we call Ashe, to come into the Merkaba, creating a different frequency based on a different energetic pattern. You with me? So we have 256 different frequencies, all of which shape the world. Every religious tradition you've ever heard of all starts with the idea in the beginning was the word. So the word in Ifa is the resonance of creation. That's 432 hertz. And the Odu that resonates with 432 hertz is called Ije Ogbe, which, if you translate, is from the Legion Ije O Egbe, which means the first manifestation of the consciousness of everything, which is a synonym for God. And so in Ije Ogbe, there exists what's called quantum entanglement. So here's the thing to understand in terms of Ifa science, which makes it all make sense. The only consciousness in creation is the consciousness of a God. In Ifa, that's called Iponri. So every human being has an Ori, which is a personal consciousness, and everybody's connected to the higher self called Iponri. So there's billions and billions of Oris, but only one Iponri, and we're all connected to it. So think of think of everything in creation. This is according to Ifa. Everything in creation has consciousness, and that consciousness comes from the invisible realm of Orun into the visible realm of Ia through geometric patterns. Geometric patterns is the portal that brings the consciousness of God into the physical world. And the patterns of Odu that we mark on the Ifa tray, excuse me, is a 2-dimensional coded reference to the 3-dimensional energy pattern of Merkaba. And God speaks through those geometric patterns, even in their symbolic form. So an Ifa priest learns to go into possession so that they can tap into those altered states generated by the marks of Odu themselves. Now, in Ije Ogbe, you have all 8 portals open. And when all 8 portals are open at 432 hertz, we generate an expansion of our aura. In Yoruba, aura, the word for aura is imi, meaning I am, and that generation occurs at the pineal gland, which in Yoruba is Iwaju. So the Iwaju expands our aura, and our aura has the same laws of physics as a plasma cloud. So our plasma cloud of our aura is able to communicate with the resonance of the plasma clouds of 99% of the rest of the universe. And we do that by identifying a very small spectrum of that consciousness so our head doesn't blow up. And we access that for specific problem solution process. So Ifa says every problem has a solution. And the solution to that problem is every odoo that comes to define the problem is solved by the opposite odoo. So that gives us instantaneous problem resolution consciousness if we understand those principles. And those principles are deeply rooted in what we could call plasma science, for lack of a better word. But what Temple discovered and figured out, and which I tip my hat to him for it, the Earth has two plasma clouds, one to the right, one to the left. They're each 9 times bigger than the plasma cloud. They're each 9 times bigger than the Earth itself. So one of the plasma clouds records every thought every living thing has had on Earth from the beginning of the creation of the Earth. That's the function of one conscious plasma cloud. The other plasma cloud uses that information to alter DNA to create a better way to live on Earth. So what do we call that in Odu Ifa? The plasma cloud that records everything, we call it Obatala. The one that alters DNA, we call Yemu. And so the relationship between Obatala and Yemu is what creates evolution. So we have words to describe a deeply esoteric scientific process, but we have something now. Plasma physics is kind of the hot topic among alternative science these days, largely populated by my white guy brothers in academia who just don't get it. And here's what they don't get. And this is why Ifa is so important. Plasma has consciousness. Yes, absolutely. And Ifa has the key to how we communicate with plasma. It's a two-way street. Once you talk to plasma, and once you affect plasma, and once you use your intention to use the structure of plasma to solve problem, you are co-creating the universe.
I just wanted to show that. Thoughts?
What's his name? He sounds pretty informative.
Why not say so?
Awo Fasakin.
Okay. I'm not hip to him.
Yeah, anybody had a question about the relationship of black power to white people, man? I'm open for that. But yeah, I did. That was interesting. And shout out to him. I hope y'all heard how he described subatomic particles while people was questioning what I was saying and saying that I didn't have an
I'm sorry.
understanding.
I will follow Kuhn. My bad. I will follow Kuhn. All right. So he is
I will follow Kuhn.
I will FALOKUN. My bad. You know, I got like different Bible laws I talk to. So he is a Omo Awo, but he is a Olakun. So Falakun. So yeah, I will Falakun. But here's the thing. I do want to say this is that so he's combining what his knowledge of being a person that went to Cal State into what is Yoruba spiritual science and his knowledge of that. So that's what it, and then that's where he read up on. He's 80 years old. So
he's 80?
Yeah, he's 80 years old.
Okay. You don't look 80.
Exactly.
Plasma science. That's what they're doing with that plasma, getting young again. But I'm gonna have to look him up. You say what's his name again? I'm a follow what?
I will follow Coons.
No,
I will follow Coons.
Listen, no, stop it.
Come on, man.
Hey, y'all don't
have
be
to
disrespectful to
Man,
my
come
religion.
on, man. Black people got a sense of humor, man. That's taking our skin a little bit.
But that's
That
my,
nigga's okay.
that's my religion.
And
Follow
he's
Coons.
okay. And we talk
That's
about
really
everybody
his
religion
name?
around here. We drag Christianity, we'll drag those guns too if it's funny.
Yeah, I don't drag Christianity. I
735.
don't drag any religion. I don't
Mika
think
says
that
he
drag.
looks
I think
90.
that everything got like something relevant.
Mika funny. Shout out Mika. She been posting some good books.
I post the link in both places. Comments in a private chat. I mean, it's up to y'all to either you could take what you want, believe, and spit out the bones. I just think that when he broke it down. So, do you want to hear more? Or you want to take it off?
No, we want to talk.
Pause
take
it.
it down.
Yeah, but I do want to get his info. Maybe ask him some questions myself.
Well, what I did was, I'm gonna be doing a show with him, but I'm doing like because of my channel right now is like, they didn't. So I'm kind of down 7 days.
Oh, dang, that's
But like next week we'll probably be able to do an open panel where you guys can ask questions. But yeah,
okay. That's what's up.
Sister
That's
DJ, if I can
100%
ask a
pseudo.
question.
Well, religion is pseudo. Religion is pseudo. So if you are not, if
Yeah.
you're talking about like pseudo, you're basing it on science, then yeah, 100% pseudo.
Sister DJ
Religion is
Genesis, can I ask
yep.
you a question? Are you familiar with Professor James Smalls?
Yes, he actually has the same head as I do, or he has OEI as a head.
Okay. How I asked because so how do you see this brother's information compared to the information you get from someone like a Professor James Smalls?
I think it's two different things. I have you have he's talking about things from one point standpoint from his aspect of where he came from, and Professor James Smalls coming from he's like 79, I think. Professor Smalls, they're both the same age. You know, they're coming from different places, explaining the same thing.
Right. And the reason I asked the question is because oftentimes we have this issue when we're dealing with commission knowledge, you know, whereas though we have, and I don't want to play the race card or anything, but we have people that try to teach this information, and because they're coming from a different worldview, then we have to check the accuracy on the information. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I was just asking, just putting him, you know, just placing him with somebody that I know who in that tradition. So that's the only reason I asked.
Hey, hold on. So Professor Smalls is a Olarisha, and Fosaka's a Omoawo. So they come from the same school of thought, but different places.
Right.
It's the same school of thought. So one person is going to come at it differently. I don't think that one is better than the other. I think that all is relevant. You know, they both have the same, like, kind of similar amount of time in the faith. You know, so I don't like discount one of the over the other. You know, even if a child were to come up here and say, "I'm 5 years old and I can like give information that you don't know," I'm not going to say, "Well, Professor Smalls," you know, because anyone, if they have like the knowledge, they got the knowledge. You know, they got the information, they got the information. So I've never heard of this whole thing being a plasma cloud before from anybody. So that's coming from a
Yeah, no,
different
that was deep.
I've never heard of.
The
So
consciousness of plasma. And then it's like knowing that everything, like you say, the universe is 99% plasma. And it's like, so that shows the consciousness in the universe, if you will. Like, yeah, that's dope, man.
that's
Shout out
pretty much
to
what Tesla was talking about, right?
him.
And so he's validating Tesla through E5. So I can't be like trying to discount him. And Tesla was trying to say the same thing. And he just found a way through African spirituality to validate Tesla's claims. Why would I sit up here and be like, oh, well, he ain't black. So you're trying to, nah. Sometimes you'll be surprised about when someone else takes their information and combines it with yours, what you find out. So I'm not over here.
Especially when it's not malicious. When it's just information, how they get it, it's cool. But when there's maliciousness behind it, and there's this constant attempt to try to discredit everybody else's intelligence to say that they need to be downloaded and need to catch up, like everybody else is slow. See, that's when things need to be questioned and excruciatingly.
What you just saying
Right.
is advised. I just
No,
think
it's
that
more
if Wes was a little bit like this, he probably believed me, Suave Boss. I know what you're saying, bud. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Yeah. No, it's just in
And shout out, it's the queen back to the panel.
it's a queen back there. No, it's just in the realm of information, you know. We always want to cross-reference, right? So it's not about nobody being right or wrong, right? That's why I said earlier, right? I don't want to make it about skin color, right? But it's about, okay, just as the sister Genesis pointed, they both got certain amount of time in the same faith, right? These come from different perspectives, and so it's interesting to see 2 points of the similarities and the differences. You see what I'm saying?
Shout out to you, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all presence, man. Y'all doing y'all thing, man. Y'all giving them enough attention, man. I'm gonna see y'all Sunday. It's the boy Swaball. Shout out for everybody in attendance and getting out, watch your back versus It's the Queen, man. I think she might leave you with a couple bruised ribs on that one, bro.
Oh wait, hold on. I want to show something real quick, right? Just so we know.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm. You know, I know one thing. She gonna come with that smoke, so it's all good.
I wanted to show this real quick. So I just looked it up on ChatGPT. This is just a computer, right? Have no color, nothing. It is just a, it just goes on the internet, finds the information, and says it. Okay, so here it is, right? So I didn't know this. Check this out. If you show this, it says, I make my AI call me baby girl. I don't know why. You know who started that was Zion, and it's been doing it ever since. It says this is actually a fascinating comparison between plasma science and E5 cosmology. Both describe a universe that is fundamentally energetic, pattern, and interactive, rather than just mechanical matter floating in empty space. They come from totally different traditions, modern physics versus Yoruba metaphysics, but there are some surprising conceptual parallels. And then it's going to break it down even more. And I can actually share you guys that ChatGPT. So if you guys are interested, I'll just post that in the thing.
Yep, you're a moderator. You post links over here. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, go ahead. So if you, it stopped it. It stopped it. So, but I'll put it in the back chat if you want to post it. But that's the actual ChatGPT of what he said. So it's not just a matter of just him saying something. This thing is even the AI who is scraping the internet for information can find what he's saying, that there is some similarities to it. So pseudo or not, there's something to it, There we go.
Yeah, I think you can find these parallels in all types of different spiritualities, because the spiritualities was basing a lot of its information on nature and what they were seeing in the universe. So they're not going to be 100% accurate when it comes down to the science, but the parallels that they make between the science and the nature and their spirituality it's absolutely there, in my opinion. Well, I feel like you can do that with any thing, and you can even do it with a lot of different religions, because when you think about it, all of these teachings are about the positions of the stars, and it's not a coincidence that Jesus, Lucifer, and Inanna was all the Eastern Star. Like, that's not a coincidence, because the Eastern Star is what was important. The names we gave it is relative.
And what was that debate title that you had with Gideon again? While he's still up here?
Does the Bible diminish the power of the woman?
How do you feel about that, DJ Genesis? I know DJ Genesis got something to say about that.
The power. What's the power of the woman? What?
It's a Queen is debating Gideon Israel on does the Bible diminish the power of the woman?
Does the Bible diminish the power? Of course it does. It was based on a patriarchal framework. Well, which part of the Bible, the New Testament or the Old Testament? Well, actually both of them do, because when you actually break it down, yeah, I mean, to think that Adam would come from anything other than a woman and and is Sans belly button, and the woman then came from his rib, and this and the other, that does have a weird connotation. So yeah, the Torah and the New Testament does kind of gets kind of weird when it comes down to women. It's a very patriarchal book. So,
Gideon, you want to respond to that?
She said a lot of things that she didn't sound too sure of, just on
I'm
the
very sure.
interpretation.
I'm very sure.
But I could be, I could joke with her, and be misogynistic, not in a vulgar or disrespectful way, but it's just like a woman, man. They just, she's taking on more than she can. Like, to me, she's not really thinking it through. And I'm not saying that what It's a Queen gonna do, and I'm not saying that's what DJ Genesis do all the time, but that was just her reaction. But when you really think it through, the Bible definitely doesn't diminish the power of the woman. Again, we just got to understand what is the power of the woman.
Unless you have all like 88 books or whatever, or the entire books, including those non-canonized books, yeah, if you're only looking at the canonization of it, I would say very much so, yes indeed.
Right. Well, it's a lot of stories where the woman's power is diminished, even amongst Israelites. You know what I'm saying? But we all got to understand, how to compartmentalize the Bible and what we reading. So it's gonna be interesting. I want to see where the sister's gonna come from. What position she's gonna come from. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think that first you're gonna start off with a little bit of a handicap because I feel like a lot of your information is gonna come strictly and only from the Bible, which is not that old of a text. So if we're gonna talk about something being diminished, you have to talk about what the role of the woman was before. And I feel as though a lot of the times with people who are thinking in the biblical context, they don't look outside of the biblical context to understand what the role of the woman was. And especially when you're looking at it in the greater context of it being of the Canaanite tradition and one of the Canaanite peoples. So you will have to go into that history as well. You will have to go into the history of women around that area, not necessarily just pertaining to the Israelite woman, to understand how power has been taken and redesigned.
Right. And that's a good thing, to compare and contrast, because we are actually living in a world, like where this is actually being played out and has been played out. So it'll definitely be interesting to see the comparisons as far as how women were treated without the Bible and how they're treated with the Bible. And like I said, a lot of these conversations come from the comfortability that Christianity has provided, whether it be atheism, the feminists, the whichever paradigm you come from, you're able to speak your mind because you're living in a Christian world. So whether you're man, woman, whatever. So yeah, that's
So you think that the only way that women are able to speak their mind is because we're in a Christian world, and that there was
Right. I was about to say,
time
can you
when
please
women
elaborate?
were okay? Have you ever heard of the Sibyls by Mama Zogbe? Have you read that book?
I'm
Real
familiar
quick,
with.
real quick. We got a super chat, folks. Shout out Ill Doctrine. He says, God breath the light. Wait, God breathed the breath of life into man and made him a living soul. Then in the spare time, God made woman out of the leftover man parts. Shout
Jesus
out
Christ.
Ill Doctrine.
That does not have any scientific relevance. Do you even realize that the Y chromosome is even like that there's actually like like dying off like this? Anyway, so I mean, I don't know.
Back to you.
It's interesting that you would say that it was a leftover thing when in actuality we look at like chromosomes, like that particular chromosome for the male is the leftover one. Oops, my sounding feminine, feminism, whatever.
Now I'm not familiar with. I don't know if he was directing that towards me, but yeah, I didn't say anything like that.
No, I was more so directing because I feel like that was a lot of sarcasm in that last super chat, so I didn't take it serious. But when it comes to like this idea that people are comfortable, that's why they're able to speak the way that they do, literally goes against the history of how activism works, right? Black people weren't comfortable during Jim Crow when they started to fight for their civil rights. There was nothing comfortable about that. So why then would you think that women are comfortable in their space for them to fight for their rights? Like that just doesn't make logical sense to me.
It's almost like, Jim Crow was backed, or rather the whole government was built upon the Constitution. The Constitution was built on loosely morals that we find in the Bible. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not do these things. And from that, we see a democracy that came forward. Now, without the Bible and without the government that the Bible, governed, we have these different like cultures. Like we have Swazi culture, we have Yoruba culture, we have Akan culture. Now you can show me somewhere the woman might be supreme and this and that, but it's a lot of those other cultures where women have no say, women have no rights, women have no aims or no opportunities to own any property. So yeah, I can easily say that now a lot of these Native American tribes revered the woman, but it was still ruled by men. So with that being said, a woman wasn't coming saying anything that's going against the grain. Now we have that in these
But
societies.
that's not
So
true. That's not true at all, right? And when it comes to Native American societies, there were things called clan mothers, and clan mothers were very much integral to the politics of the tribe. So much so that there was a bunch of clan mothers at the table for the Iroquois Confederation that America actually based their democracy on. Because if you look up what the Iroquois Confederation was, it was a bunch of different tribes of Native Americans that came together to create this confederation to abstain to go against the newly European population coming in, right? And there were women at that table because politically, men and women had the same amount of verbal rights as the next person, right? So, and that's actually what America based their confederacy on, was on the Iroquois Confederacy that had women at the table. But what they did was take their patriarchal ideologies from the Bible and took the women out and made it a man-made structure, and that's how we got America today. And also, those other countries are just behind on their feminism because once upon a time in this country, women weren't allowed property, women weren't allowed bank accounts, women weren't allowed credit. So it's because of the feminist movements that were happening, women gained the rights to all of those things. It wasn't just given to us because men decided, oh, you know, she's been under my wing long enough. Let me give her some rights. Like, that's not how it happened. So the idea that, these these movements is happening because of the structure that's already ingrained, it's like that doesn't make sense because the movement itself is going against that very structure.
okay. Well, like I said, it'll be interesting to see, how you were able to belabor that point. So, you know, uh, yeah. But I still stand on that, Christianity has been the best thing for women since, sliced bread, pretty much.
I say
I don't
something real
see
quick.
how.
I just want to say, like, a lot of these views on like male female relationships are tainted. I hate to sound like a broken record, but like we're viewing everything through a white supremacist lens, and like now we've adopted the way they treat their women, and that's how in return black men treat their women, like they're like subjects or like just property. um I think like when you go back to look at our original cultures and ways of life, the men and the women were on a equal playing field as far as like gender roles and what they brought to the table. They knew that each person had their own strengths and weaknesses, and they complemented each other. So it wasn't a hierarchy except for in like age and experience. All of this things that we viewing now and how we view the world and how we view men and women, it all comes from white people and how they decided to conduct themselves and passed it on to the rest of the world.
And how did the white people pass that information on? Was it through Abrahamic faith?
through feminism, because that is not a black woman's ideology. That's not even an African ideology.
Feminism is
So
absolutely a black woman's ideology.
you go back into
It's
African
not.
culture and tell me
It
and
is.
show me feminism. You show me that.
I will go back all the way to Phyllis Wheatley of the 1700s, who is talking about the autonomy and equality of women in her books, and she's literally one of the first black women or women
Mute
ever.
out, Banu. You got that background stuff going on.
She was one of the first black women or woman to publish anything, and if you understood the plight of black women, you will understand why feminism started with us. Because being told and being sold as property during slavery breeds that type of conversation of having autonomy over your body, of having reproductive rights. Like black women has been talking about this for a very long time. And I think it's a great lie that we're starting to tell each other about what feminism is, and I think that that's another ideology that comes from the white man.
It was I could say the feminism movement that was popularized. You could question that, but you might still be wrong. But feminism, period, the fact that women want to be treated equal or more than what they like. Come on, man. How would you?
So was
And
men
everything
worship
black
women?
don't
Was
go,
it feminism?
and everything black don't go back to Africa. Like there's some
Right.
modern new black stuff. But
Okay,
Gideon,
so
Right.
when
I
men
won't. But
worship
I just
women,
She clearly didn't hear what I said. I
no. I got you. I
said
got you. I got you. But
no. She didn't hear
Gideon,
what
I
I
want that
said.
debate about you.
She didn't hear what I said. I said
Let's
if you
make it
can go back
happen.
to I said if you can go back to Africa and show me that, I'll accept it. But that's not an African concept. They didn't need feminism in Africa.
You
There are
said
plenty of
black.
great queens who were autonomous and did great things without
I'm
necessarily
good,
having
man.
to. So
Yeah,
that is definitely not an African thing. That is when
yeah.
you come out of your culture
594.
and you're being used and abused. You can't show me no one in
But you
Africa.
said black.
But
You didn't
that
say
doesn't make
African.
sense. You didn't say
You said
African
black.
first.
That's
You
exactly what I
said
said. I said
black.
No,
African.
you
But
didn't.
even
Rewind the stream. I just did. You said black,
yeah, you
No, I
said
said
and
black.
then you
African.
And
said
Yeah.
then you said go back to Africa and show me.
No,
right, and when I
no.
mentioned
Let me
black
correct.
women, I was talking about American black women,
There
even
you
though
go.
black women is across the
Absolutely.
diaspora.
Okay,
And
I'm with you
if
there,
if black and
but I'm
just
not
by
with you.
your logic, hold on, just by your logic, if men and women were treated equally in Africa, then there was no need for the feminism that you're talking about. Is when the women were started to be treated unequally in America, is when the need was needed. So to say that, oh, it's not inherent for
Thank you,
black
guys.
women to be a part of feminism, that would be an incorrect statement because we were literally the property of America.
And so are black men.
Yeah, and
And I
But we're
feminism,
talking about feminism, brother. What are you doing with the conversation? We're talking about
there
feminism.
feminism. Women
feminism
having
and
the complaint. that
It
they
is
being treated
my view that feminism was an
It's Western.
anti-white woman thing. That is how it started,
Yeah.
and black
One
women
mic,
didn't
gentlemen.
I'm
One
support
pretty
mic.
it.
sure. I'm pretty sure that white women had contention with their white men, but they sat down and did what they had to do to like. But at that same time, when white women was accepting it, black women weren't. Black women were fighting and dying to be treated
It's
equal. So yeah, that just seemed like that's rooted in something crazy. But getting out of what I wanted was is Christianity the best thing for women? You said since sliced bread. I give you a chance to rephrase that.
I'm standing on that. That's what I'm debating this a queen on.
But I would say this is that there were Kushite queens, okay? All right. So it talks about the kingdom of Kush, modern Sudan, powerful queens called Kandake. Candace ruled the empire, one of the most famous Amanirenas. She led
Amani
armies against
Reynolds.
Rome, negotiated directly with Augustus. Kushite queens could rule independently, not just as wives as kings. This level of female military leadership was extremely rare in the ancient world, but we did have like female political institutions and male. Among Igbo, Nigeria, they had different ones. Women had their own councils, their own courts, market economic control. But here's the thing: is that everybody wants to think that the women were subdued like they are in like say like in Arabia now, even like with the Caucasian, even today, because right now they just like fired what 300,000 women for DEI because they want us to be just raising kids and having babies and stuff like that. Like, so I don't know.
But DJ Genesis, the matriarchies that we see even in Africa, they're based on patriarchal power. And this feminism that we see in the Western world is strictly not African. I mean, anytime when you just said it yourself, what y'all call it, your body rights and all that, how logical is it for a woman without the consent of a man to abort the child, but if she wants to keep the child and he doesn't, the government makes him pay for the child? You see how that's imbalanced? Okay, that's what I was
So
saying.
you're saying that well, I believe that because society is so imbalanced, you shouldn't even be having sex with a person that you don't have a child with. So you can't blame it on the woman because you got a woman pregnant. That's what happens when you have sex.
Again, so let
Sperm
me
comes out, and then that sperm could fertilize an egg.
right.
Then you want
So
to get mad at the government for saying, "Oh, okay, well, guess what? You have to
right,
like take care of that child." Well,
right,
she didn't just stick a vacuum up her JJ
right,
and suck it out. So
right,
therefore, you're making me become a father
right,
unwillingly. Well, honey, you had sex willingly, so
right,
that's what happens when you have sex. Let's all be big
right,
kid, big grown ups here.
right. Okay,
And
so
can we
let's
also
look at this, and I'll give it to the sister who want to say something. Okay, so if there's a law that says it's armed robbery is illegal, if a man and a woman commits armed robbery, the only one who gets jail time is the woman. Like, in what world would you like blame the man if he's going to have the woman commit armed robbery, knowing that if he gets caught, she's the only one?
Why is you
It'll
calling
be
pregnancy
it'll
armed
be
robbery,
logical for the
man?
Whatever
woman.
that thing is you said don't even make
It'll
no
be
sense.
it'll be logical for the woman to say, you know what? I'm gonna get 5 years, i.e., 18 years with this child. Because this dude, he can bounce. So since I'm God, and since everything come from me, let me be the wisest one and not sleep with this clown because I know he gonna
So that
bounce.
means that men don't
You
have
see
no
how that
self
kind of makes
control.
sense?
So you see how
But
you just don't have say that men don't have no self control over their own penis. So you
They
want the
really
woman to have control over who you sleep with and who you stick your penis into to tell
nah,
you,
I got an
because you know
if
argument
damn
it's
for
if
well that
that.
it's
when you
out
I'll
stick
if
tell
your
it's
you.
in
penis
our
in
nature,
that vajay,
my
that
sister,
that person could get pregnant, and then you want her to say, "Hey,
my sister,
it's
if it's
on both. It's both onus."
no, listen. If it's in our nature to build the nation, because men are the nation builders.
Oh
If it's
shit.
if it's in our nature to build the nation, we have to be stimulated to have sex over and over again, because if it's 10 women in front of us, we're going to have sex with those 10 women because we can impregnate those women and regenerate those women to have X times as many babies. Whereas a woman, if she's looking at 10 men, all they're going to do is, you know,
Okay, and then I'll
Well,
show
if you
you.
have
she
ten
can't
women
produce
and they all
Wait,
anything
have
like
the
that.
let
So
me
her
ask you a
so her
question. If you have
desire,
10
Let
her
me
women
jump in right quick.
desire
Let me
and
jump
doesn't
in
you
have
right
to
have
quick.
be
Let me
as
10
shut up.
women
driven.
and they all
Oh,
have
go
the
ahead.
wait, hold on, because I
herpes
was trying to
virus,
read
would
it.
you screw them
All right,
and
go
have
ahead.
babies with them? If you have 10 women and they all have the herpes virus, are you going to sleep with them and have babies with them?
But now we're getting it. If it was a fifth, we
No,
all
no,
be
no,
drunk,
no,
my
no. Ain't no
sister.
it
What
was
if
a
we
fifth.
had 10
No,
clean women?
no. Bottom
But
line
this,
is that no.
But
Listen,
that was
you're
the
trying to make it
example that you brought to the table. Be
you're
very
trying to make it
clear.
seem like you
You
have no
brought the
control
I'm
over your
speaking as far as
table,
regenerating.
You're
right?
If
And
telling
we're
what I'm
me you have
regenerating
no
and both of
control
us
over
are
it.
healthy, which
wait, can I just
variables
say this
will
You're
really
produce
missing
a
the
quickly?
point
nation
I
because
heard what
you're
faster?
you're saying,
listen in one
One
aspect.
man and 10 women, or 10 women and one man? 10
but
women
Like
and one
John Wick.
man
I
is going
get
to
what
produce
you're
a nation
Healthy
saying,
or
faster.
not
right? I
healthy is
do
what we're
understand
talking
what
about.
you're saying, and in the very base nature of men, yes, they are uncontrollable, and they will probably be able to would probably have sex with all 10 of those women. But in all reality,
Disease or not.
in all reality, right? We're not there anymore. We are at a space of 2026 where we use chat GBT. So no, I don't use these kind of very feral type of examples to explain what a man is, because y'all are not that. That's what the whole point of all of y'all spirituality systems was in the first place, was it not? To take y'all from y'all base level to up and evolve up into manhood. So let's
Take
talk
us
about
both.
men,
Take
right?
us both
And
from
as
our base level.
men, we know that y'all are way more,
We hope.
delicate
No, we
with
don't know.
how
We
you
hope.
push your legacy. At least that's how y'all like to perceive yourselves on YouTube. But whenever it comes to this conversation about men versus women, then y'all are back to being cavemen. And it's very confusing for me. It's either we are men that are walking in our righteousness, that are good for the community, and that are taking care of their families, or we are base creatures that can't control their penises and has to have sex with everything walking. You can't have it both ways just
Well,
because it's
unfortunately, my
our
sister, those are the people
conversation.
that's copulating right
And
now.
and my
So
last point before I give it back to you, my last point before I give it back to you, this idea that abortions is only happening to these men that couldn't possibly have wanted this abortion to happen, like, we got to stop that lie, right? Yes, there are some men out there who didn't want the abortion and have expressed that, and it happened to, absolutely. But there's just as many men out there that's driving these women, giving them the money, and are okay with these abortions. So we can't just talk about it as if y'all are the victims of abortions when y'all are also the co-conspirators of the abortions too. And this is that double talk that people like to do, because in all reality, we all want the right to be in control of our own bodies. That's the reality of the situation. And we need to be able to have conversations with each other so these little things doesn't happen between us. And I'll land there.
And I'll
Can I
say
just
this: that the thing is,
let me get it after you, Suave?
I'm
Let me get it after you.
that's cool. Yeah, got you. It's not just 18 years you demand, it's the 9 months in producing a baby, right? That can be harmful or detrimental, especially when you don't have a co-parent. It's the 18 years legally raising them, right? But being a parent is forever. You're forever responsible for your child in some shape, form, or fashion. You have an innate concern for your child. So no, just to minimize it to the man perspective for 18 years, no, she has a whole creating a body inside of her that is a life-changing experience. Take you down here. And so to that point, and then to the point of actually having actually having the ability to control yourself. I'm not finna let nobody sit up here and paint men like they monsters. See, that just see women and can't control themselves. Now, when it comes to sexuality, true, a man cannot control sometimes when he gets erect. That's just a superpower women have. But I have the decision to sit up here and lay with her. Yeah, she exciting me, she turned me on, but that's not my plans for life. And I'm not finna have no random baby by no random woman. So there you go. That's where self-control come in, and I think we need to exhibit that. And So we got to be careful with that type of language and that type of rhetoric. But also then I'll land my plane. Be good. Appreciate it, God. I'll land my plane after this. Yeah, yes, sir. Appreciate it. I'm not building my legacy. I'm getting with a woman and we're building a legacy. This is not just me saying, well, for the better of the world, I want more of me. No, I get with a woman, I see our future, and we start making a nation together. Men cannot make a nation by themselves. And then the example where you gave, where a man can sleep with 10 women, get them all pregnant, when a woman can sleep with multiple men and get pregnant by those multiple men at the same time. Did you not know that? So calm down and bow down something that's greater than yourself. And then we get back to that title whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to come right back because I'm gonna need you to clarify that.
Hold on.
One
Hold
woman.
on, hold on.
Hold
It
on.
goes to Banu next.
Oh, okay, I'm
Gideon.
sorry.
Then we
Oh, my
got
bad.
Pam Mulatto to the panel. Shout out Pam Mulatto. We're gonna go to him next, and then come back to you,
Peace.
and then
Yeah,
anybody else can get in after that.
I just wanted to say, like, when the brother said that, you know what I'm saying, men are the nation builders, you know what I'm saying? And to that point, like, when we use that talking point, we're talking from a point of not building anything. Um us black men as a nation, we don't have any institutions or anything that's combating the oppression that we facing as a people. So to use that is like just an excuse to sleep with women. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not building anything for these women or for these children that are coming from these women. So once again, that's still a white supremacist worldview, because they're the ones that's actually building the nation that we living in. Like, we're not designing it, you feel me? We're contributing to it in a major factor, but we're not reaping any of the rewards from it. So to use that talking point to our women as we're the builders of a nation, then prove it. Do something. And I'll land the plane.
I forgot to order my next. I apologize if I'm jumping the line.
You next, Pam. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, and I'll keep it very brief because actually I wanted to hear the brother Gideon elaborate on his point because, with all due respect, to me, he made the most sense out of everything I heard on this panel thus far. Right now in the U.S., the groups that outnumber the Black Americans, which are the whites and the Latinos, are politically, socially, and economically dominating Black America right now, while Black Americans are rationalizing killing their own babies via abortion. So my question is, how will Black Americans compete against the whites and the Latinos that outnumber them if Black Americans continue to kill millions of their own babies? And I'll mute up for the answer. I don't know who's next, but hopefully someone on the panel can address this.
It
Can
is
you
on
put me on the
Gideon.
list
Abortion
so I
is illegal
could?
right now, by the way.
Hold
Abortion is
on. That
illegal.
was that Issa Queen? What were you saying, Issa
I
Queen?
wanted to be put on the list for whoever, because I wanted to answer that
Got you.
question.
It's gonna go to
Whoever's next.
Gideon, then it's gonna go to Issa Queen. Was that DJ Genesis trying to did I hear your
Yeah,
voice? And
I
then
didn't
DJ
say abortion is
Genesis,
illegal.
you're after Issa Queen, and anybody else after that. Go ahead.
Gideon, right after that.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate it. So let me be clear what I'm speaking of as far as why we see lust in men. I'm speaking strict white man, black man, Chinese man. This is strictly speaking on a biological level, why we function that way. Because as we all see, it's evident it's more women in the world for that very reason. Men definitely are nation builders in the sense that they can produce more people with more women than vice versa. So like I said, when Swab get back on, I want to hear Swab explain how one woman can get pregnant by 10 men at the same time. Like it doesn't make that didn't make any sense. Now, with that being said, yes, you do kind of got to explain sex and understand it in a very base way because those are the people that's having sex. It's the youngsters. We're not having sex. Swab said Swab himself just said he's not just randomly having sex. We are the outliers. Like, so when we're talking about this, we got to understand it from that perspective. And when we teach our daughters that, yes, they are the ones in the end that is responsible for sleeping with men because they're going to be stuck with that responsibility, then yes, we need to teach that and teach it as thus. And the reason why it's not like the way it should is because the father is not in the home. Because the father would see these boys that's full of lust coming for their daughters, and they will stop it short. Whereas now we just see the in case of single parenthood, because fathers are fleeing and leaving the women to raise these children. We see when boys come to these women, to these girls, the mother in the home, it's almost like, it's a big void. So yes, men are the nation builders in terms of the numbers, but women teach that nation. So yeah. So Suave, explain that to me, bro. When is your turn again?
So, just to piggyback off of what Lord Banu said, very interesting, like very smart brother. The fact that we aren't building institutions to place all of these children. So where do they go? And that kind of goes into the conversation, to the question that Pan Mulatto asked, right? So, who are the people that are having the most abortions in this country? And they're usually low income, low educated people. And if you take away the right for them to get rid of this baby, right, you put them even in a lower income than they had already been in. And what usually happens to these low income children? They go into the machinery of America, either the school to prison pipeline, the school to welfare, school to uh, uh, just a random remedial job that this American government wants to make because they want to keep classism the way that it is, with the 1% owning the most and the everybody else owning the least. And how do you do that? You keep people at a disadvantage. I'm sorry, but like, we are not just put here to breed. That is not the only thing of human beings. There is a balance that happens to this. And just telling people to have child after child after child without having an institution like Lord Banu was talking about to make sure that we're raising them in the correct education and being able to supply them for jobs when they hit at the right age, then what are we doing besides giving our children up to the slaughter of this racist oppressive system that we already have? So no, I'm not in this space where I'm just telling everybody to, breed out here. Because look at the ramifications of our neighborhoods and realize that the population isn't the problem. It's the institutions that are in place. And we're just putting our kids up for the slaughterhouse. Either way, whether you're talking about abortion or just talking about putting them in jail. And I land there.
It is on
I forgot who
DJ
was next. I think it might be Suave.
Genesis. I think DJ
Uh,
Genesis was
All right,
next.
so
with
I
all due
just wanted
respect,
to say
A1, can you
this:
tell me where I'm at
is
in
that
the
this
line?
entire so
Yeah.
we want to talk about
After DJ
abortion.
Genesis, we'll come back to you.
So when we talk
And then
about
we'll go to Ill Doctor.
so when we talk about abortion, we have to bring up eugenics and the whole thing that was introduced into our community by Margaret Sanger. She was a very well known eugenicist, and abortion clinics were purposely put into Black communities. Why? Because abortions were there was a whole project put together to reduce undesirables, handicap, and also Black people. Okay. And so what happened is with the help of our own Black community, W.E.B. Du Bois being one of them, they had this thing called the Negro Project, which allowed those facilities to be put into our neighborhoods because they felt like it would stop poverty. So this goes back to 1939, the Negro Project. So when you talk about abortion, this is a thing that has started back during that time and has continued on with the thinking of that this is going to stop poverty and this whole eugenesis project that has been going on. So you cannot blame our community for a system that has been put in place to remove us that dates back to the I guess the 20s, and I don't even know when it started, that was really based on this whole aspect of eugenics, and then all these abortion clinics like one block after the other, the accessibility of that whole thing, and then it combined into our actual community to where it makes it like accessible an easily thing, and the whole thing is to just to reduce our population, but we didn't know that. We just began to like go to them because poverty, right? That's what people are coming back from the Vietnam War, can't afford to take care of their kid. Guess abortion comes in as an option. So we can't sit here and just beat down the black woman because she has abortions. You have to like also think about why is it that if that's an option even for a black male to actually ask a black woman to like actually when he gets her pregnant to like go to a clinic and get an abortion. So I think a lot of times we want to just point fingers, but three are pointed back at each other. Shouts out! I'm glad that abortion is illegal now. It's illegal. I hope that the majority of those clinics have all been closed and opened up for like helping out the women and reproductive rights and stuff like that. But yes, that was a part a whole system to destroy our community. So let's not blame the black woman for that.
Okay, we have Pam Mulatto next, and then Ill Doctrine. And who wants to go after Ill Doctrine?
Suave.
Suave Boss. It's a
And then
queen. I saw
Issa.
you come off of mute. So Issa, you're after Suave, and we'll figure it out after that.
Hey, is it
Thank
okay
you.
if I go after both of them? I need about 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay, we'll put you after Issa. Got you.
And I'll keep it brief as possible because I know everyone wants to speak. I do want to say I respect DJ Genesis for being against abortion and advocating for abortion clinics to be closed. I have to say that from the beginning. With all due respect to the other sister, it's a queen. I have to say this with all due respect, and this is directed to you because you're on the panel, but really this is to all the Black American men and women that support abortions. As long as Black Americans continue to advocate for killing their own babies and actually killing their own babies and reducing their own numbers, you will be the bottom caste. You will be dominated by the groups in the US that outnumber you. With all due respect, you will be the you will be dominated, and you are committing genocide against yourself. So I mean, the choice is yours. I can, with all due respect, as a mulatto, everyone on this panel could say, "Well, nigga, you ain't black." Pardon my language. You ain't black anyway, so it's none of your business. And to a degree, I understand your point, and I could go on autopilot and say, you know what? You're right. There are more mulattoes being created every single day. We're the fastest growing demographic in the U.S. We will survive, but you, as Black Americans, you have to decide: do you want to survive? And if you want to survive, you have to stop killing your own babies. And I relinquish the floor.
Right, yeah. Well, and what I'm gonna say, to that point, and I'll go back to the other one. I mean, straight to you. I don't feel it's a genuine concern. I feel like it's an argumentative point. And yeah, like stand over there, do you? But like us before abortion, black people were still in the same situation that they was, right? We're not gonna
No, it was
overpopulate
forced sterilization.
we're not gonna overpopulate ourselves out of white supremacy. Sorry. And and it's a case by case base. Like I said, it's cool to just have a conversation at the privilege that we have. But if it was your job to go case by case base, I think you would have a little bit more understanding of how things get this way. It's always a multifaceted thing, right? And so yeah, I do feel like we need to do better. That's the easiest thing to say. How is a little bit more difficult, and actually putting it into action is more difficult than that. But
That's for everybody across the playing field. So, we're in a unique situation which takes a unique solution, and I hope we come to that one day. Now, what I will say to the brother Gideon, yes, my statement was just like a man can get 10 women, 20 women, 30 women pregnant, women can get pregnant by multiple men, is what I said. Now, I'll jump out the window and say the possibilities are endless. We know that a woman can take on more than one seed from a man and create multiple babies at the same time for different men, and that needs to be recognized. And that's only in parallel to what you're saying, acting like the man has a special ability or some type, or it's we're designated the nation builders because we can sleep with a woman and walk away. Well, a woman can sleep with you, sleep with another brother, sleep with another brother, and have a child for all three of y'all. And I think that needs to be recognized. And I did go do the Googles. It's called heteropaternal superfecundation, if you want to look in that. And we know that women can have two, three, four, five, six children at the same time. So that possibility is endless how many men a woman can get pregnant by at the same time. And I pass the mic.
It's a queen. It's on you.
Yeah. So I'm never going to talk against the eugenics program. It's a real program. It really happened. But the thing that I will talk against is the idea that that eugenics program came up with the idea of abortion. That's not true. They have in the Ebers papyrus talking about abortion and the different herbal methods that you can do to get rid of your babies using different types of beeswax and things like that because the the fertilization of women has been a woman's issue. It hasn't been an issue between men and women until you see this patrilineal society come take over, and now women are here to create legacies for men. Even down to and also we also have to talk about the institutionalization of medicine because before all of these hospitals and male doctors popped up, there were just midwives. And there's a whole history of American institutions taking over the midwifery um, of the common community where you would go to these midwives for herbal teas to get rid of babies or for pregnancy pills but really just herbal methods to stop pregnancy. This has been going on since ancient times. What happens is that people take this information and use it against us, right? And I just want to point y'all in the direction of Fannie Lou Hamer, who was a fierce woman in the civil rights era. But she didn't only just talk about the civil rights, she also talked about um, sexual, the sexual revolution, right? And she spoke about having the right for abortion and not forced abortion like those doctors were doing to us during this period because there was a period where women were being sterilized without them knowing, without their consent. So that's what they were talking about. But Fannie Lou Hamer, Frances Beale, all of these women were still advocating for the right to have the options, all of these options, just not the right for people to make decisions for us. And we have to be careful on how we frame these conversations because you will have people thinking that Margaret Sanger came up with the idea of abortion just to get rid of the black population, which she did. This was an idea that she did, but then it also erases all of the black women that was out here before that was advocating for safe reproductive rights.
Biological
And
rights. Yeah.
be clear, abortion is not illegal everywhere, right? It's determined by states because it all determines on how people feel about the abortion issue. But in the grand scheme of things, one of the first things of womanhood is having the autonomy of your body, and that includes fertilization. That includes when you determine whether you're going to conceive or not, or even have that baby. Those are all our decisions that we were making for a very long time before we came to America. And I'll just land there.
So let me speak on that real quick.
It's on
So,
L Doctor and
oh
next,
my
real
bad, my
quick.
bad.
And were
Let
you
me
Hey,
gonna
get in
let the
that queue
sister
after DJ Genesis, A1.
okay?
let
So
the sister go ahead. I'll go after her,
it,
brother.
it
I
was
need
on DJ
3 minutes to
Genesis. Okay,
park.
okay.
Okay,
And
so
then we
so
have
the
Wall Street
the,
Willie.
the
He'll go after
difference
DJ.
between Margaret Sanger's abortion and the Egyptian Ebers papyrus was that they used abortion for like issues where there was a issue with the child that could kill the mother, or also that say if the mother got pregnant too soon after having a child, they would issue an abortion to give the mother time to recover physically from the first birth to the next birth, reducing infant mortality and then managing household resources. So this is not like about like trying to reduce like the population, but more or less trying to reduce the effect and the negative aspect for the mother. So that's the difference between Margaret Sanger's abortion and the Egyptian abortion. So I just want to make that plain.
Let me ask you a question, Genesis. What quote the section in the Ebers Papyrus that speaks about abortion? Hello? You can't hear me?
And the reasons for it.
No. Are you hearing me or am I talking to myself?
No, we hear you. She looking it up.
Exactly, because that's
So hold on,
literally
because I don't. All right, so it says. So I don't have the actual Ebers Papyrus in front of me. All right, so it called. All right, so one section describes a vaginal preparation meant to affect pregnancy. A commonly translated version reads roughly: to cause a woman to stop being pregnant, crush dates, acacia honey, apply with a fiber plug. Egyptologists note that the acacia gum ferments in the lactic acid would moderate. So it's more of a book that tells you how to do it, not necessarily why. You know.
Right. And
But the
it seems to
society
me that that's the
dictated why.
Egyptologist
Hold on,
interpretation.
the
That's not a direct
society
reference.
had their reasons why. So okay, so an abortion clinic has a vacuum that they show up your thing and then that's what they. But why is written by people like Margaret Sanger. So the society determined why. The method was one was natural, one is a vacuum. So
So you're quoting what Egyptologists think it might mean.
no, what I'm quoting is that the Everest Papyrus is a medical book and not a reason why.
Did you read it yourself?
No, I have not read the
I
entire.
know you have not because it doesn't say anything about abortion in it. I can
it
tell you
does
that.
it does say stuff about abortion and tells you
It has
how
it
to do
has the
it.
actual.
But
Have you read
the
it
thing that
typically?
is, yes, I have.
It
And the
has the
thing that is
ingredients.
missing is the why. So
No, it
that's the
doesn't have the
part that I
why.
would disagree with you, Genesis, because
No, it
literally,
doesn't. No, I'm saying the society had the why. The
How do you
papyrus
spell it?
but
doesn't
Eberus?
have.
even if
I'm gonna
the
say
society
Hold on.
had
How do
the
you spell it?
why,
Eberus? How do you
E
spell
B
it?
I don't
E
remember.
R S.
I don't remember it
EVER, and
speaking
it's
about
in there.
abortion.
I
Let me
just
actually
looked it
read
up.
it.
The earliest reference to abortifacient comes from
Share your
ancient
screen.
Egypt and is found. And
Share your
I'm on
screen.
my phone. I'm not even sure if I could do that.
Okay, spell it
Comes
then.
from the ancient Egyptian and is found in the Ebers Papyrus, which dates back around 1500 BCE. So yes,
Right.
abortion
And what
is
it
Yes.
in
doesn't say
Ebers
is
Papyrus.
why, right? And there, you're not going to find, at least not right now, right? I'm not going to say you're never going to find a papyrus in the future that says, well, I decided to get this abortion because da 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 da. But what I am saying is that that hasn't been found yet. So to try to
Well, it's
presume
called the
that,
Cahun Gynecological Papyrus, and that's
Yes,
what they
right.
the
written
But
down.
either way,
yes,
it's
the
called the
Eberus Papyrus
Ebers
contains some of
Papyrus.
the earliest known written references to induced abortion. The ancient Egyptians in 1550 BC had medical texts with details for remedies for terminating pregnancies.
Okay. Well, if you're saying the Cohen gynecological papyrus, that's not the same papyrus.
So
It's a different
texts from Egypt
papyrus.
and other ancient show people you not the Ebers papyrus, but the other texts explain how they would why and how they would use these contraceptive measures.
Okay, well, I haven't fully read it, so I'm gonna back up off of that. But I know the Ebers Papyrus didn't say that. So let me
Right.
back
So
up off of that.
piece to the
One
panel,
is
right?
how the society determined why. So
Okay, so let me back
Right,
up off
but
that
we're
because I haven't read
assuming
the
what that
gynecological
society
papyrus.
is saying based on what our society is doing now. And that
but
would be incorrect, right?
so you're
Because we
saying that
don't
Egypt
know
was
the
actually
why.
trying to do population control versus
Right,
actually
but that doesn't a
actual person
causation correlation doesn't equal
reproductive
causation.
rights and
Right, but
reproductive
correlation doesn't equal
safety.
causation. So because they, had a population control, that could just mean that they had immigration laws. That could just mean
No, I'm
that,
saying that it wasn't about population control in Egypt when they had this Everest papyrus. It was about reproductive health and sustaining and
and
making
and
sure
I
that the
and
mother
I'm
was
agreeing with
safe.
that. But
But
what I'm saying
in
is you're
America, it
using
was
the
about
Margaret
population control.
right. That's what Margaret Sanger was doing, right?
Right. So
But
I'm
they
explaining the
okay,
difference
wait, let
between
me
the
But
finish my
DJ
Egyptian
Genesis, you gotta
sentence.
let her
and
land her
Margaret
Wait,
plane. DJ
Sanger.
wait
Genesis.
a second. Let me finish my sentence. That's what Margaret Sanger was doing in the 1930s. How do you then explain the women that were getting abortions in 1928 and before? Is that still population and eugenics? No, because that idea wasn't even out there like that yet. So what it would be is a different reasoning. Or Margaret Sanger saw what we were doing already and then put a new ideology to it, like we do over and over and over again.
Correct.
Nothing is new
Abortion
under the sun.
existed.
What I was trying to
Correct.
explain
Abortion
is that
existed, but
people
Margaret
were trying
Sanger.
to
Oh no, yeah,
actually
it is
maybe
on
not
Wall
have
Street, Willie.
children
He's been
quicker.
waiting patiently.
Listen, I just explained that in Egypt, right, they would use abortion. Even I didn't say abortions didn't exist before Margaret Sanger. What I said is the reason why they had abortions were different. So what I'm saying is that in society, people, if they like knew they were gonna have like the with the ghetto twins, where you're gonna have like one baby and then you as soon as you kick out that one, she get pregnant a month later, they probably would abort that child because why it's not safe for that mother to give birth a year after just having birth to another child. So they would abort that baby, right? So there was different reasons as to why they did it, not just so much about eugenics. That's what I'm saying. The reason for abortions was different than it was for during the eugenics time frame. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so with me, I'm Mr. Today and Tomorrow, right? I don't go back 700,000 years and go into the papyrus and all of that, right? So when I was listening to the conversation, it was certain things for me that were problematic, right? Like I keep hearing the term nation building being tossed around, right? But nation building isn't simply comprised of population, right? And just keep pumping out these babies. Nation building is about having institutions, having employment, having, protection and things for your population, not just building a population and not being able to offer them anything, right? So when I hear this abortion conversation, for me, a lot of times when I hear men, especially black men, make the argument, it's like, all right, we're taking out these babies and it's preventing us from building this nation. But the reality is, we got communities flooded, right, with kids who aren't being taken care of right now, right? So if it's about building a nation, right, we already have those babies that we aren't providing a nation for. We're not providing institutions to have them not being YNs and out here drilling and going crazy, right? So I basically stay out of that kind of abortion conversation from the aspect of being black, right? No, I don't believe in a country where we are vastly outnumbered, black women are having the most abortions, right? No, white women getting rid of a lot of babies too, right? So I don't deal with it from that space. But I'm saying nation building is more than just having babies. And so if it is about the future and, doing something through the kids, do something for the little niggas in the projects right now, right? That's what nation building is about, right? We got babies that are already here that we need to save. So we don't need a bunch of broads having more babies that can't provide a lifestyle for them. And then these little niggas get caught up in the same whirlwind, the same circle of crime, drugs, and violence, you know what I mean, that put half of my homies in the clink. You know, it's not as simple as just having a bunch of babies. I would argue that that can actually be problematic. So I don't really deal with women's biological rights, what they can do with their body, because the reality is a lot of married couples have babies. Like she just said about the ghetto twins, right? If you got three in the house and wifey get pregnant again, you know, married couples might say, all right, we at our limit. We tapped out. We don't want to have no more. You get what I'm saying? So that's just something I wanted to throw in there. Like when I hear
The limit.
the black community challenging
Or it
abortion,
could be
it's like,
detrimental to that woman's health to actually like be impregnated, like
but see,
right, didn't
I
even
think the
finish.
health argument is the low hanging fruit, right? Because if we're being just simply honest with ourselves, right? Most of the time abortion is financial. It is not biological. It's not
I wouldn't
she's
even say it's
gonna.
financial, it's social. I don't even think they consider and they can't pay for the baby. I think they said, I don't want that life.
But
I
I
don't want to have that relationship.
but when I look at the reasons why, 9 times out of 10, it's strictly from the worry about provisions, the worry about being able to provide for this baby, right? A lot of times chicks get pregnant, they can't even provide for themselves, right? So how I'm gonna provide for this baby, and I don't have the right union to bring this baby into, so I'm gonna get rid of the baby, right? I'm
So
not
do
gonna
you
be
think
able
that
to
that was
provide
the
the baby
issue
the best
during like
lifestyle.
the ancient Egyptian times, or is that like is there a different situation now than it was then? I believe that there was a different situation. I think
Well,
that people
yeah,
were
like
not.
when we go into Margaret Singer and all that, it's a fact. Like abortion was around before her, but she was one of the, pioneers in terms of eugenics in America, right? Like she even made her first like Planned Parenthood stuff in what is it? Brownsville, Brooklyn, right? Pretty black community, right? So the goal of her program, yes, I do believe it was racist and targeted us. But
I don't think you
Yeah.
need to believe that. I think if
Next,
you
we
read it,
have
you'll
next is
find out.
Sadiq after you, Jose, and then we head back to Ill Doctor.
And
you,
can you
you,
put me
you'll
on the list?
Yes,
definitely
yes.
find that people like Bill Gates and his kind have been talking about African population is too much and they want to get rid of African. There are quotes of them saying that, so there is no mystery about that. Because
yeah, I
Africa has the
100%
youngest
agree with that.
population on the planet, by the way.
It's a eugenics is a fairly racist like agenda. I agree with that.
But you had to break down eugenics to me because I don't really understand what that means. So I'm quite ignorant to that particular terminology. So I'm
What,
sorry to speak to something
eugenics?
I don't know. Yes, I don't want
You
to speak on that term because I
Eugenics
haven't
has to deal with
familiarized myself with it.
population control. So whether it's sterilization, like they sterilized Fannie Lou Hammer, right? So when the sister brought that up, that resonated with me, right? Like, yes, there was a time when they were sterilizing our women and they didn't even agree to it. They didn't even know, go into this willingly. You know what I'm saying? That's eugenics, like sterilizing women, sterilizing men. You know what I mean? And population control. It's just all based around
But not
population
only just population control, but getting rid of the undesirables in the community to create like a better race of people. Like so it got rid of like the
population control.
handicapped people, the people that was like might be mildly retarded, or people that might be midgets, or whatever the issue is. If you
Right.
like are have if they think you might be a midget, honey, abortion. Okay. If they
How
think
would
you're
they have known that
transgender,
back in
abortion.
1926?
If you might be deaf, abortion, blind, abortion, black, abortion. That's how it went.
How would
Autism,
they?
everything that you might, any kind of deficiency to like try to make the group of people that living on the earth a better group of people to like only like really make it about because I also felt like the Asians and the whites had the highest IQs. Blacks were like monkeys and white, and then you have the Latinos in the middle. So it was like a thing where you had like this whole hierarchy of how the Asians and whites were like the most smartest people, and everybody else didn't even need to exist. So it's not just about like population control, but population control to like have the strongest and the better race survive.
But if you're talking about Margaret Singer's time, they weren't viewing Asians as these intelligent people that we view now that all know calculus, right?
No.
It was the dumb bucktooth Asian, right? Like if you look at a lot of the like primary source newspaper articles and whatnot, you got to realize most of white America couldn't even read. That's why they created the cartoon. So in a lot of these cartoons, Asians are depicted as dumb, conniving, scheming. They weren't viewed as respected, intelligent, high IQ.
Yeah, but then Sister Genesis is making an anachronistic argument because they would not have known about birth defects when eugenics started. They would not have been able to do those tests to know
Nah,
whether the
we
child would have been deficient or
nah,
not.
we definitely
No,
knew
they
birth
did.
defects in the 20s
Real quick.
How could they know that? How could they know that?
because
How
there
could
were
they predict birth
babies that were
defects?
born defective. We knew
But
like
they can't.
certain.
But right, but they couldn't have predicted it because there was no testing to do that.
And that's the point of the eugenics, right? You don't necessarily have to be correct in what you're doing. You're just eliminating the thing. So they would go to like um places in low income they and like the Appalachian Mountains. They used to do this with their own people as well, right? And they'll see how inbred they were, and they would start sterilizing those people. They would go to the neighborhoods where these people will show up and sterilize the people in that neighborhood. And that's how they effectively try to stop it. Not necessarily realizing that you could live in a different neighborhood and come out with a small person as a child. You never know, right? But they were mostly focused on low income, poor families to get rid of those people.
Right.
That's
I
why I
just
said it was
wanted to say
economics. I
about
agree.
Show my screen real quick. I'm gonna show
I
you
just
how
wanted to say about the
Francis Galton
social
break it
part,
down.
right? Because we're using how we view this stuff today on the ancient people back then. And yes, we are like, whenever a black woman is going into Planned Parenthood to try to have an abortion, do y'all really think in the back in her mind she's like, yeah, because I'm trying to get rid of the black population? No, she has a different reason for why she's going through these things. So to just equate eugenics with abortion and what black women are doing with abortion, I
Today.
think that that's
Yeah.
very that's just it's beyond it being a little disrespectful,
I
because it's
don't think.
making it seem like black women does not know their own minds and does not understand what's happening in the world, knowing how smart we are. I think that's very disrespectful.
I
But
agree.
I don't think but I don't think we're putting that mentality on black women necessarily. We're saying the crux of this whole Planned Parenthood is racism and trying to get rid of our own, and we're falling into the trap unknowingly because Planned Parenthood was not because they care about birth defects. They wanted to get rid of niggas. And people have to know the history
Well,
of
not
things
only
that
just
they
niggas,
are
the
involved in.
all the people that was like undesirable in society. It was okay. Let me bring it. Founded by
The
Francis
Irish.
Galton, who believed human populations could be improved by controlling reproduction. Eugenicists attempt to rank populations based on supposed intelligence, morality, social behavior, and genetics. These rankings were highly influenced by racial biases, colonial attitudes. Asians were placed in the hierarchy. Many early eugenic thinkers placed East Asians, Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, as above Africans, sometimes comparable to Europeans in intelligence, but still considered culturally different. Some researchers in early 20th century believe East Asians had strong academic ability, discipline, high literacy traditions, but intellectually capable but socially rigid, right? So this is like how they were actually like looking at this IQ test. They did IQ test and all this other stuff. That's where you even get like this whole thing where they like testing out people, the skulls and all kind of wild stuff. So all this stuff all goes into the same thing. So of
Real
eugenics.
quick, let me pass it around. I want to get to ill doctor. Were you ready yet?
Hey, brother, can I get a mic check?
Yes, sir. Your mic sounds good.
Oh, excellent. Oh, man, there's a lot of stuff happened since I hopped on. Um, hey, I'm gonna run through a few opinions, man. Abortion is a huge problem. It doesn't make sense. We all want economic and political power, but we're cutting off our main line of reinforcements and building our community. At the same time, the brother that said we can't reproduce ourselves above white supremacy, he's right too. One of the problems that we have is we think things like abortion are the problem, and we got this red pill shit getting popular online and with men, pointing to women as the problem. And none of that really matters because the solution to these problems rests with the men. You can call abortion the problem, but the solution is black men need to be fit to be fathers and husbands before we become fathers and husbands. And we need to be fit to be men in the community rather than just in the community. If you look right now, wherever you see a high density of black men, you also see the infrastructure to that community falling into disrepair over the course of many generations. This problem exists because our access to property value raising skills, like building skills, roofing, plumbing, whatever blue collar skilled trade you can think of, that was taken from us as trade unions came in like around in the early 1900s. That was part of the feds building up white America. Our access to those skills was eventually taken from us. But we don't have an excuse now. The excuse that I hear from men is women not gonna hook up with me if I'm a blue collar dude. That we've been reduced to our sex drive. We build everything about being a man around our access to either money, and our access to money we direct at looking good so we can smash. And the sister is talking about we're just cavemen now, and that's essentially what we are. We're cavemen in a modern world, if that's the case.
You're breaking up,
This
El
is
Doctor.
You breaking
You're
up,
breaking
bro?
up.
what's up now. Can you hear me?
Nah,
Yeah,
still
you just
breaking
started
up
to break up
right
now.
at the end though. So like we
Staticky.
heard everything. It just got staticky at the end. Mic check.
Mic check. 1, 2,
But he made
3,
a
4.
great point.
It's still,
Made a great
it's
point,
still
but
there.
it got staticky. Still staticky.
All right, I'll chill till the cycle's back around to me.
Okay, it's on
He
Sadiq.
made a great point.
Yo, what's up, family?
Mic is
Man, yo,
Yeah.
going in on Sanger, man. Yeah, I can't really support Sanger, man. That motherfucker, man. She was affiliated with the Klan and opened one of the first clinics in just outside of a black area in Harlem with her grandiose ideas, spearheading the noble
I wasn't
cause.
Harlem, it was Brooklyn.
It was near the black area, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The first clinic was near our, right there, not too far Harlem,
Brownsville.
and had the one called the Harlem Clinic, particularly the one I'm referring to. And she, and just it's just she spaced some funny quotes through the years, back then. Like if I could recall one off the top of my head, I believe it was a Negro project too in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Affiliated with that clinic too in Harlem at that time. And then I think she began to expand through the South and shit, and make little comments. And she spoke at the Klan rally and all of this shit, the women of the Ku Klux Klan rally and all that shit, saying things, expressing that we something to the effect that uh, we're speaking on from her pamphlet or whatever, birth control in the Negro or something to that back in the 30s. That we breed something to the effect of carelessly and disastrously or whatever to that event. So she people that became made that's a controversial statements and things like that, particularly during that time and given the racial climate at the time. And we know, we can go beyond that. We know whites that's always a sensitive area with them. Their genetics, limited genetics and things, and the ability, and it's not really that strong, and it's not that many of them physically, even to this day, and they're actually dying out in that regard. So and now here we are, Gates is echoing some of her talking points, even now talking about she talked about overpopulation and all this, and here we are again with Gates and there's so many areas you could touch on with this stuff, and you don't really hear too many blacks echoing similar sentiments in our own right. If we do, we join in with them, but they usually start that kind of conversation usually naturally. So Yeah, man, I ain't. I don't support her at all, to be honest. If I'm not mistaken, a few years ago, I'm gonna have to double check, but I believe I went onto the Planned Parenthood website and they had a picture of her as actually they had actually a nice expose discussing the background of like the founder of Planned Parenthood, which is her, which all of those are all mainly in black areas or just outside urban areas to this day. And so and under and so I believe they had a snippet, a screenshot of her actually speaking, like declaring rally on the goddamn Planned Parenthood main website and shit. I have to find that. Don't quote me on that. I've seen something like that years ago, but I don't know. They could have revamped the website probably by now. I was cracking up. But yeah, man, I'm good. I think we're good on senior. Yeah, we don't need any kind of genetic regulation on our genes and shit. I think we okay. Yeah, we ain't perfect, but hey, we
It
we,
was
we yeah,
it
we
was an
good.
attack.
Yeah.
It was an attack on the black community. Like
Oh yeah, in my
that
opinion, yeah.
yeah, that's understood. But I do want to correct you, bro, because I am from Harlem. No, her clinics were in Brownsville, Brooklyn. That's where she kind of created her base. But yeah, it was completely an attack on the black community. But one thing we're leaving out is the politics of the time. Like at that time,
Mhm.
birth control in New York was illegal, right? So it
Mhm.
was multiple issues going on where to some, right, the racist element could be ignored when it came to other things that women at the time were fighting for. They were fighting for birth control. You know what I mean? They were fighting for the right to a degree to just be able to have abortions, right? And these things were mostly illegal during that time. So that's how her racist, portion of it gets overlooked because there was a portion that did intersect with feminism at the time.
Right, right,
Exactly. And that's the place that I find myself having the most, you know, back and forth when it comes to me and, you know, people in my community, because it's not just black men, it's black women as well. Because two things can be true at the same time. Sanger could absolutely had this eugenics program that was running rampant inside of our community. She was putting it in our communities.
right,
And it's also true that black women wanted autonomy of their own bodies. Both of those things are
right.
true. Black women wanted birth control. Did we necessarily want it from Margaret Sanger? No.
Right,
Like we wanted it
And
man.
white
though.
That's the
women,
So like
last
we gotta
motherfucker
be
we
we
need.
gotta be very clear. Like, and it's the
Right,
same thing with feminism. Like when you
right,
hear feminism, you think of Susan B. Anthony, who is a huge racist, right? We don't think about Ida B. Wells that started the first black woman suffrage movement. We don't think about her.
Mary McLeod Bethune, and
But at
others.
the end of
Yeah.
the day, the gender is what is the same, right? We both have these needs that are being oppressed by our government, but because racism is also there, and that's why black women coined intersectionality, because it's not just about racism when you're a black woman, it's also about being a woman in this country.
But that's why I was saying, I think the politics of it gets left out, and it very much was economic because you got to realize, like, there's a lot going on. There's these new social programs that are being implemented. Like, I don't know if welfare was around then, but there was an element of, state funding
It
to
was.
parents and underfunded communities and things like that. And a lot of people view that as a financial issue. All right, well, let's have these women stop having these babies if, they can't afford to feed them. So there's a political element to it too that can't be missed.
So let me pose this question: if our people were among the first people to start writing, why don't we read the writings of our ancestors? Because they would tell us what we should be doing, as opposed to sometimes parroting other people's cultural paradigms that have nothing to do with us. Our history didn't start with 500 years of enslavement in America. We have to, and while we should not ignore it, that is not the beginning of African culture. We were the first to write for a reason. All those things on the walls are there for a reason. So why don't we learn and make an attempt to read them? And you would have to
So
ask this
Well,
question.
that was a
Egyptian
good question.
abortion did exist in African culture before Margaret
I'm
Sanger.
not, but once
But
again,
now his
I'm not
question was
specifically
about why
referring to
don't we
that.
read up on the older things? And my reason I always say I'm Mr. Today and Tomorrow, right? The further you go back, the further there's disconnects, right? In terms of the realities of our lives now and when these papyrus were being written, right? Like the world just isn't the same. Even if you look at certain doctrines about parenting, they ain't had the internet. What can they tell us about how to parent when they don't know our elements? So usually what I do, I've learned to start working my way backwards in history. Start where I'm at and then make the connections going backwards so I could always keep that connection to where I am today and how it affects me and my people. You know what I mean?
I hear
Hey,
you.
Facts,
Jose, let
King.
me ask you a question, brother. Do you read the writings that you're
You're still
talking about?
breaking
You
up,
still
Ilda.
breaking up bad. You might have to come out and come back in.
But let me ask you this question. And
Wait, can I answer your
let me pose
question
something to
first
you.
before
Say it
you
again.
kind of move on? I just want to answer your question because for myself, um, I had to look back because of the simple fact of how our society has been corrupted over the last 3,000 years. If I didn't look back, I would believe the things that they told me about women today. I would be in full agreement about the things that they say about women. It's only since I looked back and saw what women were capable of in our African societies, in a lot of South American societies, North American societies, what those women were doing is where I found out what womanhood actually is versus the patrilineal, patrifocal idea of what womanhood should be under what we are in today. I think a lot of people don't know what womanhood actually is because we look at it through the lens of Abrahamic traditions that are men telling women what women are, rather than other women like Anana, Neith, Oshun telling women what women are.
I'm with you on that, and I appreciate that. But I'm going to tell all of you, if you read the instructions of Ptah, it sounds like it was written yesterday. So wisdom does not expire. Good fathers telling
Facts.
their sons what to do doesn't expire. He wrote that for his son, and it was so wise that they still use it to this day to tell you how you should behave in certain instances. So good wisdom, or sebait, as we would used to say, don't expire. So don't think because it's old it ain't no good. It's
See, but
definitely
this
is, just as if you wrote it yesterday.
I
Fact, for
got
real.
you. Now, for me though, right, when I look back at African history, Black American history, right, most of the time I do it for pride, right, to know who we were, to know that they're lying, that we never built anything and all of that, right? Like I look at it from a pride aspect. But when it comes to strategic planning, right, there's nothing in the Ptah, Hotep papyrus that's gonna help me figure out how to get Jasmine Crockett elected, right? There's nothing in that that is really gonna deal with building generational wealth in a white society, right? So at some point, I have to go away from history. All right, I've gotten enough pride. I feel good about myself, like Habaragani. But now, how do I get to the bag? How do I put my kids and my people in a better position? And when you get to that point, you got to be forward looking. You got to, and even if you're going to deal with history, it makes sense to deal with the modern history, the things that are closer to where we are today, rather than go back to the Berbers and then Silky gonna Berber me to death. But what is that? You know what I mean? But like, how is that gonna push the needle in terms of us gaining power and empowering Black people? You
You
know what I
see,
mean?
you see, you did something that I would never do. You're picking a bad example. If you read the instructions of Ptah and you look into the wisdom text, you will understand there's a lot there that we could still use today. Now, as far as economics, the ancient Egyptians and ancient Africans probably saw probably saw economics a little differently. Gold wasn't just about riches; it had a spiritual and a quote unquote metaphysical, if you want to use that term, significance in ancient culture other than just I'm rich.
Yeah, there
You
was
know, they,
no
they,
Fed
they used to make sacred
reserves. There was
objects
no
out of it,
cutting
and it had an
rates.
energy as well.
Well, also, here's the thing that I found when I'm looking back in ancient texts is that one thing that all of our ancient ancestors agreed on from Asia all the way to North America is that spirituality and understanding is a one man journey.
Facts.
So the things that speak to you and what I forget who we were talking about the papyrus that you're talking about doesn't necessarily have to speak to Wall Street. It doesn't have to speak to me. It doesn't have to speak to doctrine. But what it does have to do is create a space for you to be in cohesion with the rest of us. So I could just live by the Hermetic principles, or you could just live by my eye. But because both of those principles are talking about how to be great for our community, we will be great for our community,
Now, here's the
regardless.
only issue with that
And
where
I
I would
think that's
challenge that, right?
huh. Mhm.
Here's the only issue I have where I would challenge that. The more we look back, right, the more confused I watch my people get, right? Now we stuff that didn't even exist. We Nuwapians now, and we waiting for the mothership, and it
It ain't
gets
for everybody.
weirder and more confusing, and it creates fractures in the community in 2026 more so than bring us together, right? Like people will say, you know, you Kemetic, your people ain't from Egypt, you West African, and now we bring the Igbo traditions in it, right? And then there's conflicts between how spirituality was practiced, and then I wake up in the morning and I'm in 2026, and the Donald is going crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything in those papyruses that can give us a formulated plan on how to deal with the Donald.
I get that, and I agree with that part. But I was more so speaking towards the the self accountability that everyone should hold for our own community. Everybody should be accountable for how our community looks. And in all reality, I don't care what ill doctrine, Sadiq, A1, I don't care what y'all believe in. As
Why you
long
say
as
my
what
name first though?
because you're the one who said that it was made
Hey,
by leftovers. I remember that. Uh,
I'm catching the first stray.
Yeah, she's good. I
I
see she's
remember
good.
that.
She remembered the comment an hour before you came up. But the face with the
Yeah,
voice,
it
the
was
comment.
definitely
Let's
a
love it.
subconscious thing, though.
She is gonna be in the ring soon. Here, y'all. Get ready. Get ready.
She
And
meant
I
Jose.
don't
She meant Jose. She meant Jose, ill doctor. She didn't mean you.
in
She meant you.
2026, I can't.
Basically, my mouth wrote a check, right? I had to cash it. That's what happened.
No, and I do agree with you with it not necessarily pertaining to 2026. I do agree. But I also know that within our black community, what I've seen, and I can't stand none of the Nuwabian and all of that, Yakub, I can't stand none of that talk either. But I've recognized that our people are looking for something to believe in because they're waking up out of the doctrine that has been given to them. With that being said, that doesn't mean that everybody is critically thinking. And I think critical thinking skills is a big part of why people end up in Yakub, Nuwabians, uh, aliens building pyramids, because the connective dots that's supposed to be happening when you're intaking information is not connecting all the way. So you could be lied to. And I think like I would more so push for a movement about critical thinking within our black community so they can learn how to think and then
Now,
they can pick whatever it is that they want to pick and then come back to the community and mind your business on what I'm doing with my spirituality. That's another big thing. Minding our own business.
but like when you
Mine,
said,
you
when
funny.
you said we all got to be accountable for our own things as a community, I don't view it that way, right? Because I can't trust, right, a black conservative to be accountable for anything when it comes to my people. In fact, 9 times out of 10, they're working against what I believe we need to be doing and how we need to be presenting ourselves, right? Like, how can I go where the power is, right? Like that's my focus on gaining more power because once you do that, those power and connections can put your babies in a better position. So now I'm watching a bunch of black men right? Wearing these red hats and all of that. And the reality is, it's not one bad hairline in the whole Trump administration, right? And you got black men, shout out to my man Leandre, right? Like saying Trump is great, Trump is great. But what else does he have to tell you, right? To tell you, you don't have no place in what he's doing, right? The Democrats aren't perfect, right? But the one thing I know is I could probably run for something over there, right? They've made it clear we don't have any space in what they're doing. So I watch a lot of brothers, and in my opinion, they're totally misguided. So I can't trust them to, have influence or, say on anything.
That's probably part of our issue right there. We want to move like a monolith, but you don't want to be a monolith. You want to
Yeah,
be
nah,
the
I'm
leader.
over the monolith.
Yeah, but you don't want this to happen. My people, but I gotta move like an individual. And this is why it's important to have a code of ethics, because then you have something to unify around and upon and how to move. When you don't have that, you usually run into a wall. If you look back at some of these old texts, and I really don't care what it is, because it's all we know where it came from. Um, if you look at one of them old texts, they tell you something. They tell you go put this on interest. In particular, when we talk about anxious chance, he's like, go do this and put this particular party on interest so you can gain money from it. So they're giving you the same basics that you get now. But if you're confused by what's happening just because somebody's in a code of ethics, whether they're a Mason, a Nuwapian, a Republican, a Democrat, whatever it is, then you're really confused, because nowadays they talking about, I don't identify as him, I'm a her, but call me a it. So that's what's happening in 2026 right now. So
I
anybody who
agree.
you,
I agree.
if you can't sort out a code of ethics and it boggles you down that much, then you're going through a turmoil, because I know in the African American community we've been this, that, the other, but when it comes to handling business and getting down, it's always been we move like a monolith. But lately there's a lot of fractures in a bunch of communities. You got European world battling each other. You got Ukraine is
Right.
battling Russia. You got, yeah,
Right.
but you point at the finger at yourself, and you make yourself feel like you're the lowest thing going, but you ain't deplete your resources. Africa's still popping. You ain't deplete your gold. You still got gold, but you don't want to claim Africa. You're not African. All of a sudden, you come from the Jordan River or something. So right now, the only problem is you just need to lock down. You need to love each other, respect each other, and move when it's time to move. That's it.
I agree. I feel like so my personal politics is just black first. I could be a Christian, but I'm a black Christian. I could be a
Hello,
feminist, but I'm a black feminist. I could
hello,
be
girl.
an evolutionist, but I'm a black evolutionist. And what
Come
I
on
mean
with
by that is that I would never do anything that would be in detriment to my community as a whole when it comes to what I'm feeling or what I'm promoting. So let's say I'm a millionaire right now and I'm a conservative, and there's this guy over here that's running for office who wants to give me a 10% tax cut. That sounds great. Who wouldn't want that? But at the
it.
same time, he wants to build a factory in a low income neighborhood that's mostly black children. I know that that factory can cause a whole bunch of new asthma symptoms for a whole lot of bunch of black children over there. My politics being black first is fuck that 10%, excuse my language, but F that
Right.
10%, I'm going against this person because the greater good of my entire community is more important than that 10% tax cut. And if I just feel like you can have any ideology as long as you are thinking about the greater black community first. Because I will override anything. You could be an Israelite and a Muslim coming from two different places, hate each other, but y'all have to love each other because y'all both come from Africa at the base of it all.
That's right.
Mm,
Hey,
And those
mm,
Josh,
wasn't your
I
I
wars.
want
don't
to
know about that.
I
Those
want to
wasn't
speak a
your
little
wars.
bit,
You just
guys,
a
and then
convert.
take
Go
off
ahead.
if that's all right with
You're
everybody.
still breaking up bad, bro.
Bad echo, ill dot.
I don't. You're breaking up real bad.
See if everybody mutes out if it affixes mic.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nah, still staticky, bro.
Nah, you still a robot, baby.
The Most High is not rocking with your Wi-Fi, bro.
Not the most high.
But you see, but you see, sister, it's a herein lies a problem of what you said. Those philosophies that you talk about, Islam, is not really geared towards African. It's not something that goes that far back. Neither does what they call Hebrew Israelite. That's not something that goes far enough back for me to pay that credence if I want to be a pro-black African. If you can't go back past 3,000 years or 2,500 years, and we're talking about a dynastic, as they call it, part of it that lasted that long, not counting before that, pre-dynastic, then they can't tell me anything.
Yeah, but see,
But I
They have
also
like
would say
that's
bodies.
that
They
you're
have bodies
being
in Africa
just
that are older
as,
than their whole
but
culture.
I feel like you're being just as selective as the Israelites that you feel like aren't pro-black, right? Because you're subjugating these black people because based on their ideology is the same way that they're doing to you. When in all reality, we all live in the same community. So you, this Israelite and this Muslim, you think the cops see a Israelite, a African, and a Muslim, or do you see three black people?
now.
And
See,
that's what I'm more so concerned about.
I'm with you,
but
but
here's
it's
the
not
thing,
our
though. Hold on,
philosophy.
bro. You, because I don't want to run that stop sign. You just said, you can't necessarily respect like the Islamic, presence when it comes to being pro-black or whatever, right? But the reality is, Ibrahim Traore, he's Muslim, right? What he's doing in Burkina Faso right now, I see is very pro-black, right? So when you say it's got to go back dynasties, right? I stopped dealing with the dynasties, right? What I started to realize was the more I try to go back to the Moabites and everything else, right? I'm not focusing on my history that I could actually implement in the arguments I have with America, right? Like to a certain degree, we don't know enough about our Black American history, right? And my people went through our ethnogenesis here, right? Since the late 1600s, 1700s, right? So I'm not trying to go back to no dynasties, right? Like if I'm dealing with my people, right? If we knew more about Black American history, right, then people would realize how goofy they sound when they claim FBA, right? When our people had already defined themselves. The AME Church, African Methodist Episcopal Church. Our people already knew who they were. But because our people don't know our current history, and when I'm saying current, I'm going back to the 1700s, but, we chasing Berbers and wearing fezzes and kufis, and a lot of times that stuff don't even connect to us.
And that could be, now you make a good point with that, but we also, part of the reason why the new generation is disconnected with the American history is because they forgot that African ethic, which is respect your elders, build off your elders, and listen to them. So when you have that factor, you know everything. Because in the 90s and all that, we knew exactly what it was. We never had a
But
history.
but I would say though, I don't have to go to Africa, right, to
No, you don't.
see
But
to
if you
see these
stop,
things. I can go back to the 60s if we're talking about respect your elders and whatnot,
yeah,
right?
but
Like
we're not
I,
stopping there. We want to go all the we you want to carry the whole thing. Because if you stop
mm,
now, this was the argument for us in the 90s. Why you giving us history off a slave ship? And here go y'all in the 2026s. Our history starts off the slave ship. We're good. And so that's why we looking at y'all like, what are you talking about?
I'm just
So if
saying
you
the
talk
history
on
of my people, who we've become, yes, it starts right with the transatlantic slave trade.
no,
Yes, I
no,
know.
for
I
my
hold on.
people, my people,
I,
no, because I'm still talking. Hold on, family. We gave you the floor. Give me 2 seconds. When it comes to the people, if you starting off the boat, to us, you look a certain way without even saying it. But if you get connected back to what's at home, not only do you become rich, not only do you create new economics for yourself, but you're not tied to, oh, I have to do what this says because this is the only money I could get. I have to do what this says because we're not creating jobs, all that stuff like that. So this becomes a problem for you where What happens if and they've been talking the Civil War and all this goofy stuff going on? If something like that happened, you have nowhere to go. I would never, ever alienate my birthplace, and nobody else would in their cultures either. And Hindus will always claim Hindustan. A European will always claim Greece and Rome. A Latino who's Mexican will always claim his Aztec and what have you. And you should always, and you should be proud of your culture, and they should be too. But when you alienate it and disrespect it and tell me that your history started off a slave boat, then I know that you're either being lazy with your formatting or you don't care about those people over there and you've divorced yourself from the continent because you were born here.
So what I'm saying is, right, even that argument that white people, Europeans, still hold on to their European history, like, nah, fam. Like, they are Americans. They aren't the immigrants that came over here. They don't claim Irish American in
They do.
mass, right? Hold on, hold
Yes, they
on.
do.
Some, hold on. Some do, right? And for the some blacks that want to go back to being a Berber, that's cool, right? But what I'm telling you is the overwhelming majority of white folk is just white. They are proud to be an American. Where at least they know they're free. Right. That's who they've become. Right. They're no longer attached to that Roman history or none of that. Right. They've moved past that. Right. So while I do know the history of Mansa Musa and even closer like Kwame and Nkrumah and other things that were going on in the time frame that I'm talking about, I focus on my history because I don't think black people know black history well enough. And that's not even my argument. That's a conversation I had with Taz and we went back and forth, but I had to agree with him, right? Like people will jump in that Bible and deal with 50,000 years ago and now they claiming Moabite and they know everything about Esau, right? But they don't know anything about Alexander Manly, right? They don't.
Hmm.
So all they know, right, is Tulsa. They can't tell you the story of Wilmington, North Carolina, right? Like Wilmington burning, right? Where this was a wealthy black man, right? They don't know that it was other archetypes besides integration. If you ask black folk, all people start saying is, oh, integration hurt us, integration hurt us, integration was bad. When you know your history, you realize there were other models. Infusion cities were what they were called, where you just put black people and white people next to each other and let them compete. And the reality was, we did so well, right? That's why they burn Wilmington down. That's why they burn Rosewood to the ground, right? It's not just Tulsa, right? So I'm saying we have a lack of scholarship on our own history, right? Because the one thing that happens is when you try to tie yourself back to Africa, what are you tying yourself to, right? Like, I feel like black, right? Like, you can call everyone black, but here's the reality. In Africa, right? They're not black. They're not even African, right? They're Igbo, they're Hausa, they're Fulani, they're Khoisan, right? So for me, black is my tribe, right? I'm a black American. Most of these people don't become black until they come here, right? Then that's when they, you know,
Mm.
just as black as they are Fulani.
And
Yeah,
GD and Capone says he
I
gonna be looking
would.
for a show on this Wall Street Willie.
Yeah, I would have to disagree with you on that one thing, Wall Street, because they do identify as black. They do. And there is a good portion of them that don't, right? But there's also a portion that does, because just like black people in America, they're not a monolith either, right? And the point that I was making earlier about being black first is like, you see how you and Asar have two different ideologies? Would that stop y'all from working together?
No.
Would that stop y'all from trading from state to state? Would that stop y'all from building a school together? Like,
Absolutely not. In
and
fact,
that's why I
it
say
would
I don't really
probably make
care.
us, in fact, it would probably make us more prepared. He's approaching it
Exactly.
from one way, I'm approaching it from another, but we have a mutual respect and we can work together. So I get that
Exactly.
point.
And then not only that, you whatever school you and this brother makes together, I could put money that it's gonna have all of our history in it, from Asar taking us back all the way to Africa to you taking us all through America. So these children will have the entire story, whether they like it or not, just between y'all two.
But I want to be clear
And
though,
I feel
right?
like that's what's more important, rather than having like the, like, of course we can have these conversations as long as it doesn't end in y'all not talking to each other anymore, or him not being um uh learned enough to have a conversation with you about anything ever again. That's where we take it too
So look,
far.
sis, if
When
I
we start to
sounded crazy
decide that
before,
I can't deal with Israelites
After
at all because they believe in Yahweh, like that's when we start doing ourselves a disservice.
all right, but
after
here's the
Wall
thing.
Street Willie, I want to go to Black Man is Fair, and then a word from our sponsors. Go ahead, Wall Street.
If I sounded crazy before, I'm gonna get even more crazy, right? Because I am a card carrying member of the Boule, right? And that's on W.E.B. Du Bois and the Dead Homies, right? Like, I do subscribe to a certain level of the best of us, right? Should be the ones defining our path. The more we just let anyone, represent what's best for black people, the more confused we get and the less progress we make, right? So
No,
when a lot of people criticize the Boule, the one thing I always point out is, out of all of our movements, right? Who probably had the most tangible things that are still standing? When you're talking about that
Garvey.
HBCU, you're talking about the Boule, right? When you're talking about Divine Nine and all these groups where HBCUs produce the overwhelming majorities of our engineers and and doctors, that is because they had a plan that was a top-down plan. So for me, I can't necessarily work with everyone. The one thing I won't do is tear down what they're trying to do. Right? All right, we could race to the top, see whose plan gets us there first. But I can't, just welcome every
And I'm
argument.
cool with that. Creating options for multiple black people. Like some black people think like you, some black people think like him. But guess what? Y'all both created options and lanes for these black people to thrive. And that's the point of all of it. But the one thing I wanted to ask you about the brulee is that how do you feel about Ida B. Wells?
And
I
before you
have
answer that question, Wall Street Willie, hold on. We want to go to a word
word
from
from
our
the sponsors.
sponsors. March 14th, Saturday, March 14th, only here on Coliseum of Arguments. Will you catch this one? This Saturday, March 14th, the Battle of Truth, the clash of intellects. Leandre McBride versus Elder Yara. Can Elder Yara, the seasoned veteran with decades of debate experience, prove he's an Israelite using only scripture? Or will Leandre, the brilliant PhD scholar, dismantle his claim with razor sharp logic and scholarly precision? It's a high stakes debate where faith meets knowledge and history is on the line. Two giants, one question. Can Elder Yara prove his Israelite identity through the word? This is a battle you don't want to miss. Tune in to Titans Debate League and witness the ultimate war of words. Who's got the facts? Who will leave the other in the dust? The countdown to the debate begins now. Coliseum of Arguments. Only the brave speak here. Are you not entertained?
That
And
kid got a
this,
gun and he got a gun ready to shoot y'all.
yeah, he got that Terminator gun. And this Sunday, even though the ad says Saturday, this Sunday, only here on Titans Debate League, Coliseum of Arguments. This Saturday, March 8th, history steps into the arena, only on the Coliseum of Arguments, hosted by Titans Debate League. It's the clash of cosmic proportions. In one corner, the smooth strategist, the verbal tactician, the man who bends rhythm into reason, Suave Boss. And in the
opposing corner, the architect of quantumoliism, the philosopher of the infinite, the mind that dares to question reality itself. Quantum truth, the question shaking the pillars of existence. Does Mother Nature need Father Time to exist? Is nature eternal? Is time the necessary foundation of all things? Or are we witnessing the collapse of a cosmic illusion? Two titans, one stage, no escape from logic. Saturday, March 8th, only in the Coliseum of Arguments. Enter the arena and witness eternity on trial.
Yes, yes, and these are paid debates. Both debaters will be receiving $50 cash for showing up. Bragging rights are on the line though. And real quick, Wall Street Willie, before you answer her question, I want to go to Black Man is Fair. He's been waiting patiently down here. New guest to the panel, never seen him before. How you feeling today, sir? Any questions,
Peace and
comments, or
blessings.
thoughts? Any
Peace and
questions,
blessings.
comments?
No, I'm good. I'm
Oh,
good.
peace to you. No questions, comments, or thoughts on anything you've heard?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, my bad. I just wanted to add on, yeah, I agree with the sister. Like, it's all about working together. I mean, I understand this is a debate league channel and things like that, but ultimately in reality, black men have to do something unprecedented, which is take their nerd side or their educated side and their warrior class side and do something together for one reason. And so I just want to come from that aspect. I never really agreed with a lot of the boule because it seems like they get an education and the education leads them to just talking like crap about black people. And I think once black people feel like you think lowly of them or disrespect them or you have these feelings and thoughts about them, they don't want to work with you and they don't want to, you know what I mean? So I think it's brought more division to the black community than anything, than being some smart, educated person who knows how to talk to people, knows how to bring people together, knows how to get something accomplished.
I don't know if it's so much the education that did it, but I would say that Boulay didn't
Come
do
closer
anything.
to your mic, sir.
Uh-oh, hold on, let me grab my other headphone. I would say that the Boulay did nothing special. You had the Oscar misuse who started our cinema, right? You had um what's his name? The two brothers who started O.W. Gurley and Stanford, who started Black Wall Street. You got your Malcolm X's and stuff. You got all them from the hood. So the Boule, the Boule didn't do anything in particular. I will say the thing that was especially when it comes to education, because a lot of you will waste money on this hybrid education and just end up in debt, as we've seen. And what really stuck was like your Grover Washingtons, your W.E.B. Du Boises, who ended up making the educational system for Black America and really a lot of America, period. So those are the things that stood out and stuck with us. But the main thing is this: you haven't done anything while you're here economically to build a solid foundation where we can independently uh, uh, take off as entrepreneurs and just employ ourselves. So at the end of the day, we move backwards. In ancient Egypt, you ran the world. So it'd be better to look at what happened when we did those things for motivation, number one, and the episodes that are clear over there, which unify you still to this day, as our brother Jose had pointed out earlier, and of course upgrades, because anybody who thinks we're going to stay prehistoric with the method is silly. You're thinking. So, I think one time somebody called me a hunter gatherer because I'm Congolese. I'm like, you dummy. I ain't hunting and gathering nothing. You understand? I keep the Uzi for a different reason. So yeah, when it comes to unified understanding, this is just a matter of moving towards things that we like. When we get a vote and we know who we want us to represent us in office, we move as a culture and just vote for that person. Things of that nature will get stuff done. Making a grocery store, if Walmart doing you dirty, then it's time to go build a grocery store because there's enough of us to do it. When you look in Brooklyn, Brooklyn is self self maintained, with schools, with a hospital, and with when it comes to job building, they can do their own jobs. The only problem with Brooklyn is the lawlessness, the disrespect, and a lot of that is from the COINTELPRO. So you got cats running around there. You still like the Decepticons, the gang that I used to run with. We still down there, but it's not in a way where it's malicious. Now it's helping
Shout
the
out to the
community.
Deceps.
Decep, y'all know what it is. And Thurston High, we'll see you when you come down here to Colorado in September, Playboy. It's been
Salute
a
to the
long
Lolos. Yeah.
And
Lola,
gentlemen,
give it up.
ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to close out here shortly. I have a results show to do about 8 o'clock. Go ahead, finish, land your plane. Though I didn't mean to cut you off. After you finish, I'm gonna start with the closeouts.
I was long winded. Other than
No,
that,
take your
man,
time,
really,
brother. Take
yo,
your time.
yeah, yeah. I just think that right now it's time to focus, lock in. We might be facing World War III here shortly because your man is a little crazy up in that office. So get your economics right, get connected with home just in case, because Africa don't get bombed because it carry all the resources, and if you hit it, you can disrupt the earth. So get connected, learn a new language, get your passport, and let's get ready. It's really time to get ready. Stop playing games because some other cultures might make you a sleeper cell because they always this in Africa in their books. Go ahead.
Hey, okay, let's go to closeouts. Let's start with you, Jose.
Right. I just wanted to be understood that our ancestors had a consistency in what they did. The punishment was the same for everyone. Everyone could get it. There was no favoritism in wrongdoing. And there was not this idea that I'm going to attack you because of race and this and that. It didn't go that way. And there was one community, one mentality, and one continuity throughout Africa. So that's all I want to say.
Oh, appreciate you pulling up on the panel today, Jose. I was muted. Thanks for bringing your wisdom through and
I
challenging
appreciate that.
everybody. Il Doctor, let's go to you next. Closing remarks.
If I could just get a mic check in, man.
Mike sounds great.
Mic check 1 2.
Your
Sounds great.
mic sounds nice. Check one.
Mike check 1 2 1 2. You sound good.
I don't think he can actually
You
hear
muted.
us.
You muted now.
Oh,
You
yeah.
muted yourself. Okay, we'll come back to him. Sadiq Rod, did you want to go?
Yo, what's the criteria?
Just closing remarks. We're closing out.
Closing out. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. This is another great topic. Another great time. Discuss with the fam, man. We got it's been said that our reproduction as it rates in the states have slagged and suffered unnecessarily so due to certain aspects of social engineering, and so we're trying to regroup and get back on pace to join to get our numbers where they need to be. I think we're headed in the right direction, and I think we got to have these necessary conversations now more than ever, and I'm here for it. That's all I got.
And real quick before we go to Il Doctrine and It's a Queen at Wall Street, Willie.
Let's pause the noise for a second, because if you're still here right now, you're already different. Not everyone gets this. Not everyone understands real debate, real scholarship, real intellectual smoke. But you do. This is Coliseum of Arguments. This is Titans Debate League. And what happens here doesn't survive on algorithms. It survives on the people who believe in it. When you support through Cash App, you're not just donating. You're fueling the arena. You're the reason we can bring in high-level guests. You're the reason we keep unbiased judges. You're the reason these debates stay sharp, fair, and uncompromised. This platform is built by thinkers, sustained by supporters, protected by the ones who know value when they see it. If this show has ever sharpened your mind, has ever entertained you, or has ever challenged what you thought you knew, then Cash App is how you say, keep this going. Not everyone contributes, but the ones who do, they're part of what makes this real. Coliseum of Arguments, Titans Debate League, powered by the people who get it.
Let's go to L Doctor. And are you there, brother? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. Mic check.
Mike check. Mike sounds good. Go ahead. You're muted again for some reason. I'm about to unmute you. You cannot unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. Okay, I guess I can't unmute you. There you
Yeah,
go.
I just unmuted so I can do something in my settings. Mic check 1 2.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
First of all, who said the Most High ain't with me?
I think that was. I forgot. Was that GD and Capone? I forgot who said it.
Hey,
It might have
how's the
been
mic
Washington
sound right
Willie.
now?
We good.
Sounds good. I'm about to turn you up a little bit, but it sounds good on my end. I got it on my. Just go ahead. I got you.
I can actually put it closer like this. That
Yeah,
sound
that's
worse?
no, that sounds good.
All right. Me and the Most High, we on a let me know what you need basis. And I just let her know that I needed better connection. I hopped on, man, because I wanted to talk a little bit with the guy who was saying some red pill stuff. I think he dropped off. But it looks like Jose dropped off too, man. Maybe Jose, if he's still in the audience, consider hooking up with A1 on the show and reading some of that ancient literature to us and let us see what we can do with it. I
Right.
can't navigate it. I've never been exposed to it. And so you could certainly introduce me to it and other people. Aside from that, what up, though, Sadiq?
Hey,
I know it. What up, though, Sadiq?
what up, though, brother? What's going on, brother? Ill Doc? What's going on,
I,
man?
I'm good, man. What up, Wall Street? It's a queen. Peace to
Peace,
A1.
family.
That's it. That's all I got. I get up. I like to get at red pill dudes wherever I see them. In case anybody is still on the panel right now, that's red pill. All right. Now, aside from that, peace, love, and respect to everyone on the panel, everyone in the audience, the entire Titan Debate League. That's all I got.
Respect, brother.
Wall Street Willie.
So yeah, man, I definitely want to salute you, A1. Like it was a great panel. I want to salute the whole panel because the conversation was based in, respect and a certain amount of scholarship, right? Like these were people in the know about the things we were talking about, and it stayed respectful. And I'll just close out by saying, knowing our history is key. That is extremely important, but it doesn't stop there. And we have to balance, our focus, right? So don't alienate our current Black American history, which speaks a lot more to where we are for, ancient things that people are just going to spend a bunch of time arguing. And I just land here by saying there's nothing in these papyruses that will teach us how to deal with one of our worst enemies going forward because it's a brand new enemy. And that enemy is AI. You get what I'm saying? Like we have a whole new set of things that we have to focus on, and we're either going to find a way to make these things benefit us or we're going to get left behind. And technology and STEM is one of those places where we seem to get left behind, focusing on what Shaka Zulu did. You know what I mean? So I would just tell my people history is important, but it should always come back to be forward looking. You know what I mean? Forward thinking if we want to set our babies up. Peace to the panel, though.
Appreciate you stepping up to the Coliseum of Arguments, bringing your wisdom. Only the brave speak here. It's a queen. Closing remarks.
Again, great conversation. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate everything everyone had to say on this panel. Um, uh, Basically, just be Black first, people. Like, work on your communities, work on educating these babies. And if you don't got a big brothers, big sister program with one of these kids out here that don't have anyone, please make it your business to be that for someone because our babies is out here and they struggling. With that being said, peace to all of y'all great people. I'm looking forward to my debate coming up.
7:45.
And uh, yeah, I'll be talking to y'all on the back end. Thank y'all for having me again.
Appreciate you pulling up and bringing your wisdom today, sis. And you got a debate set up, actually. Do I got the title over here, Star? Let me see. I don't, but I think the title is Does the Bible. Wait, what's the title again? Oh, no, give it to me again.
Does the Bible erase the power of women?
Was it
Something like that.
diminished? It was
We're gonna
diminished.
get
The
it
word
together.
was diminished. Yeah, but we're going to have an official
Oh,
face
diminish.
bringing
Yes.
it out. Yes, yes, you're right. Got you. All right. Yeah, we're locked in. Appreciate everybody who pulled up today. Again, it was another amazing panel. We touched on a host of topics. If you missed it, definitely go catch the rewind. A lot of guests pulled up. Some debates got set up. So I'm happy about that. What else is going on in Titan News? Not too much. Again, I already ran the ad, so I'm not going to do that. We're going to end with the song by Connie Sun, Same Heart. I usually play him on Spotify, but you can check him out on any platform. Head on over to his Facebook. Tell him A1 sent you. And remember my motto: treat your smile like your money, and never let them steal it. And this is Connie's son. Same heart. Peace.
We was together, down for whatever. How the hell did we just fall apart? You was my brother, know that I love you. I would've gave you my own heart, and I would've never on any level think about letting that thing spark. Knowing that we got the same heart, it's crazy we ain't got the same heart. And they the one taking the aim for it, and I'm the one taking the blame for it. They ain't got no shame in the game for it. Till I come back around with that pain for it. You gon' pay for the time you was hating. You gon' pay for the time you was dirty macking. You gon' pay for the time that you hit on women. You pay for the time that you flipped on family. Karma gon' come your way, young nigga. It can be any day, young nigga. The way that you played your hand, I forgive you. But back in that sandbox, can't forget you. Killing my mentor, tell your little brother the issue. How did we go to them pistols? Know I'm official, know that I try to uplift you. Kinda knowing that I miss her. We was together, down for whatever. How the hell did we just fall apart? You was my brother, know that I love you. I would've gave you my own heart, and I would've never on any level think about letting that thing spark. Knowing that we got the same heart, it's crazy we ain't got the same heart. And I'm the one taking the blame for it, and they the one taking the aim for it. They ain't got no shame in the game for it. Till I come back around with that pain for it. You gon' pay for the time you was hating. You gon' pay for the time you was dirty macking. You gon' pay for the time that you hit on women. You pay for the time that you flipped on family. One more hit, it really ain't gon' matter. More pale lips, just me, more chatter. Can't hold hands going up no ladder. I fall from them hills, then my shit gon' shatter. I'm putting on for my whole family, but we on a different road, family. You told folk that I told family, but I never did fold when the folks had me 100. I never been fake in front. I told younger nigga make him something. You told younger nigga take him something. And he the one that took that from his cousin. And that there got the whole family fussing. Got big sis beefing with her brother. Even through it all, still know I love you. But every second I think I trust you. I'm dead. I'm smart in the game. You made it hard in the game. I'm loving, I started the lane. I'm hard as they came. Melody target they brain and they draw like a mark to a flame. How far I done came. You was not part of the blame. You was just part of the strain. You was so grimy that niggas ain't wanna come fuck with me, but that's just part of it. And I'm the one taking the blame for it. They the one taking the aim for it. They ain't got no shame in the game for it. Till I come back around with that pain for it. You gon' pay for the time you was hate. You gon' pay for the time you was dirty macking. You gon' pay for the time that you hit on women. You pay for the time that you flipped on family. We was together, down for whatever. How the hell did we just fall apart? You was my brother, know that I love you. I would've gave you my own heart, and I would've never on any level think about letting that thing spark. Knowing that we got the same heart, it's crazy we ain't got the same heart.
This Saturday, March 8th, history steps into the arena, only on the Coliseum of Arguments, hosted by Titans Debate League. It's the clash of cosmic proportions. In one corner, the smooth strategist, the verbal tactician, the man who bends rhythm into reason, Suave Boss. And in the opposing corner, the architect of quantumoliism, the philosopher of the infinite, the mind that dares to question reality itself, Quantum Truth. The question shaking the pillars of existence: does Mother Nature need Father Time to exist? Is nature eternal? Is time the necessary foundation of all things? Or are we witnessing the collapse of a cosmic illusion? Two titans, one stage, no escape from logic. Saturday, March 8th, only in the Coliseum of Arguments. Enter the arena and witness eternity on trial. This Saturday, March 14th, the Battle of Truth, the clash of intellects, Leandre McBride versus Elder Yara. Can Elder Yara, the seasoned veteran with decades of debate experience, prove he's an Israelite using only scripture? Or will Leandre, the brilliant PhD scholar, dismantle his claim with razor-sharp logic and scholarly precision? It's a high-stakes debate where faith meets knowledge and history is on the line. Two giants, one question. Can Elder Yara prove his Israelite identity through the word? This is a battle you don't want to miss. Tune in to Titans Debate League and witness the ultimate war of words. Who's got the facts? Who will leave the other in the dust? The countdown to the debate begins now. Coliseum of Arguments. Only the brave speak here. Are you not entertained? In every debate, there's power, passion, and purpose. Titans Debate League isn't just a podcast. It's a movement, a place where big ideas collide and voices that matter are heard. But to keep this arena alive, we need you in our corner. Your support through Cash App isn't just a donation. It's an investment in truth, in dialogue, and in community. Every dollar helps us bring sharper debates, stronger guests, and bigger opportunities for growth. And here's the best part. When you give, you're not just supporting us. You're standing tall as part of the Titan family. We see you, we value you, and we appreciate you. So if you've ever felt inspired, challenged, or entertained by what we do, show some love and send your support to $Titans Debate League at Cash App today. Again, that's $.